What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 7 Ag. Chapter 151. The Way of Friendship Between Monsters, Lieutenant General Guion. Alabasta South Port, Rapeseed Marine Temporary Station. Help. Although Michita was very chic when she went out, she was only handsome for 3 seconds. In the blink of an eye, she was tied to a pillar by Tina's ability. Tina is very angry. Originally, Tina was happily waiting for the handover, but this time she was handed over to an old acquaintance of hers. She was originally very happy, but someone actually dared to rob the prison. Tina pointed at Ms. Valentine on the gallows and ordered angrily. Notify me, guard this place for me, and use him to catch other fugitives from Baroque. Mr. Five and Ms. Golden Week, who were hiding in the shadows, looked at each other. Of course, they did not want to watch their companions being caught and were racking their brains. At this time, Marine hurriedly came to report. Colonel Tina, traces of the Straw Hats have been found in the lower reaches of the Centaur River. What? Aren't the Straw Hats still in Albana? Is Smoker an idiot? Tina was shocked. Tina thought for a moment and then issued the order. Attack. Intercept the Straw Hats. Then, Tina put on the gloves and tightened them with her mouth. Naval battle. Tina's Black Throne troops haven't been afraid of anyone yet. Let them experience my strongest Black Gun Fleet formation. Tina's so-called Black Gun formation is to deploy 2 ships in the 4 directions of southeast, northwest, surrounding Luffy and the others, and continuously shoot black spears at the Merry and Fast Swan. This was a spear that Tina had made in advance using the Threshold Fruit ability, and then fired it from the turret. This kind of attack, which was similar to a large harpoon, was difficult to guard against. It seems that there is only Tina's fleet, and Smoker hasn't discovered it yet. Robin pushed aside an iron rod and told the good news. If you dare, attack with cannonballs. Then I can retaliate in kind. Luffy shouted angrily. This kind of black gun can't bounce back. And if this continues, there is no way to break through, let alone help Xiaofeng reach the shore. Are you idiots? Protect melee first. Water body technique. 2 Chi-Kong appeared instantly, one on the left and one on the right using water barrier. And Black Tina's fleet is getting closer. As long as melee can't hold it back, the Straw Hats will be like lambs waiting to be slaughtered in this vast sea. Facing so many warships, it would be difficult to counterattack. After all, there is only one fort on the Merry. Boom. The southern warship was suddenly sunk. All right. It turned out that it was Usopp who was doing something big in silence, and just shot him with one shot. Hitting the target, one ship fell, and another one was also blown up. Usopp, you did it. It's amazing. Luffy looked excited. After Usopp's shot, he didn't expect it to go so smoothly, and he looked confused. Luffy shouted. Xiaofeng. Rush over quickly. This place is left to us. Charge the duck. Xiaofeng. Black Swan Chi-Kong danced gracefully and said goodbye to the swan. Xiaofeng. You must rescue your partner. For the sake of friendship. Thank you Straw Hats, Patty Big Bow. I will never forget your friendship. Xiaofeng wiped away his tears, turned around gracefully, performed a swan dance, and ordered to his younger brother. Then. Young men, move the boat over. For the sake of friendship, the way of the demon. For the sake of friendship, the way of she-males. Nicole Robin took back the fruit's ability and looked at Xiaofeng who was walking away. It's understandable that Vivi wants to help Xiaofeng to save Baroque's agents. What a shameless move. After Xiaofeng left, Tina's warships also divided into 2 groups. 3 ships chased Xiaofeng and left quickly, while the other 6 ships all pursued the melee. The diversion plan was successful. Nami, I leave the navigation to you. Get rid of them. Target the east port. Luffy smiled heartily. Nami is invincible than running away. Then leave it to me. Nami looked confident. There was a rush on the boat, but luckily there was some water to distract the wage earners. Hey, wait a minute. A big warship appears in front. Usopp reported immediately. Nani, is it Smoker? On the warship opposite. It's so shameful that my vacation at the tourist island was interrupted, really. Sister he, really, can't someone else take over the escort task? It's really going to cause trouble for people. This is a tall woman with a famous sword with a golden handle hanging on her waist. With her hair tied up, she has a mature and elegant temperament, and the beauty mark on the corner of her mouth adds a bit of charm. And those long legs, even though they are embellished with spider tattoos, are also addictive. And the most important thing is that she is wearing a marine cloak with the word, justice, written on it. This is a vest that only colonels and above can own. Crocodile, this Shichibukai who has lost his will and is living on his last breath, what exactly does he want this country to do? At this time, a sailor quickly reported. Lieutenant General Guion, we found Colonel Tina's men chasing a pirate ship ahead. Judging from the flag, it should be the Straw Hat Pirates, a pirate group that emerged from the East China Sea, and the Straw Hat Pirates who defeated Crocodile. Quote. Straw Hat Pirates. What a stupid name. Guion took several reward orders with a disdainful tone, but when she saw the Straw Hat boy, her pupils suddenly shrank. Monkey. Pirate. Damn it. What does Sister he want me to do? Do you want me to take the blame? Guion stroked his forehead, feeling a little uncomfortable. This errand was a bit difficult for her, and she didn't know how far she needed to go. So, let you see the vastness of the sea. Give up the urge to be a pirate. So, she ordered. You continue to hand over to Rapeseed Flower Port, I will come as soon as I go. At this time, Guillaume was standing on a small boat, eating meat skewers leisurely. Just such a lazy posture blocking the front of the melee put enough pressure on everyone. For example, the meat looks delicious. This beautiful lady, would you like a cup of specially prepared black tea? Are you a swordsman? Guillaume is confused now. Could it be that they can't recognize my Lieutenant General's clothes? Guillaume thought about the character of Lieutenant General Garp. So, holding the handle of the knife in his hand, without unsheathing the knife, he struck with a weapon-like slash into the seawater beside Melee. Gulu gulu. A sea fish the size of the Melee surfaced from the water. This understatement of the knife finally made everyone feel the pressure. As this unsheathed sword capable of such a powerful slash? Damn it, what's going on with this oncoming feeling of oppression? This woman's clothes are general level. Nami was the first to recognize the person's position. At this moment, even Chi Kong, who had always been confident, looked very solemn. Because he recognized the person. Unexpectedly, it was her, the strong Brigadier General 3 years later, Momosuke Guillaume. This character, who did not appear much in the original work and whose abilities were not even revealed, put enough pressure on everyone as soon as he appeared, and he surrounded them all with just one person. Chapter 152 Straw Hat Crisis, Chi Kong vs. Guillaume. Don't block the road, Marine. Luffy's mind is very simple, as long as there is a threat to his friends. He doesn't care. Rubber rubber, machine gun. He shouted loudly, and the shadow of his fist hit Guillaume like rain. In Guillaume's eyes, this attack was obviously a little domineering. I saw Guillaume holding the handle of the knife, turning it into a piece of paper and dancing in the wind, moving lightly through the net woven by rubber bullets. Marine 6 style paper painting. Chi Kang's Sharingan can see it very clearly, and it is an ability to avoid the changes in airflow caused by the opponent's movements. It seems that Luffy's knowledge and appearance are far from enough. Guillaume's words were calm and filled with arrogance. You seem to have the beginnings of domineering. Crocodile did not lose unfairly, but now that I have met you, it doesn't matter who you are. Next, just stay in prison. Guillaume held the sword in his backhand and still had no intention of unsheathing the sword. However, the sword in his hand had already locked onto everyone, and it seemed impossible to run away. Surrender. Or do you want to try again? Guillaume's voice came slowly, and his tone was full of threats. The bladeless slash just now split the sea, and with the next slash, Melee was almost gone. The last time everyone saw such a strong swordsman was Hawkeye. Sanji lit the cigarette, took a deep breath and said. It seems like we are going to be arrested by this lady. I wonder if Mr. Zapu will laugh at me if he knows. Nami, Usopp and Chopper, the timid trio had despair written all over their faces, and even wanted to cry in each other's arms. Just defeated a Shichibukai and sent a general. What is the beginning of this great route? Swordsman. Zoro stared at Guillaume with a fierce fighting spirit. Zoro has already thought of it. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Since he is a swordsman, then leave him to me. Luffy. Nicole Robin may be the one who regrets the most. She has just boarded the ship, and now she encounters a guy of Aokiji's strength on the sea. How can she escape? Stop nagging, I will beat you away. Luffy bared his teeth and raised his arms to look at Guillaume, his eyes filled with solemnity. He doesn't know why, but he feels that Zoro will definitely lose. This is the ending he doesn't want to see. At this time, Chi Kong stopped Luffy and Zoro and said, Hey. I said, let's forget about the prison. How could the Straw Hat Pirates trip end here? Chi Kong really didn't expect that Alabasta's changes were no longer under his control. The lieutenant generals are out, but considering that Lao Sha is a Shichibukai, everything makes sense. Since everything started because of him. So. Would you like to be alone with me? Lieutenant General Guillaume. Chi Kong jumped out and Sharingan spun into Mangekyo. Guillaume looked at the figure that jumped out. She definitely didn't recognize this person. Interesting, do you know me? From the Straw Hats. I don't think I've seen your reward order before. Chi Kong flicked his hair and struck first. Open black lens bracket monthly reading close black lens bracket. Guillaume was too strong, and it only lasted a few minutes, so Chi Kong used a trick. There were some charms in Genjutsu, so I decided not to write it down. The moment he landed on the water, Chi Kong formed seals with his hands and shouted loudly. Water-style Damsui Shua, big explosion water shockwave. A huge wave rose up from Chi Kang's feet, pushing Melee far away, and instantly flooded Guillaume. 1 second later. What a weird ability. You can't see with your eyes, right? Guillaume was already panting and collapsed. No one knew what she had gone through. She just held her chest and gasped. The exciting feeling made her feel suffocated. When she returned to reality, her hands and feet were a little weak. What a beautiful scene. Even for an enemy, seeing the waves of breasts made Sanji's heart surge. No matter who you are. You are dead. I have never encountered an enemy like you before. Guillaume was extremely shy and angry. Even without using her haki, she could guess what her opponent was thinking. She just wanted her partner to take the opportunity to escape. This is exactly what she wanted, but this long-haired man will definitely die. Guillaume's right hand trembled as he touched his beloved sword, Kinpira, and wanted to kill Tsunami. But the next second, she looked underwater. At some point, 2 water bodies emerged from the water, one on the left and one on the right grabbed her arms and dragged her into the water. A tsunami swept through. Chi Kong continued to be upset and shouted without looking back. Luffy, you go first. See you at the same place. Trust me, I will definitely follow you. Wait for me to have a party together. The melee had been washed far away by the waterfall-like tide, and Kong didn't give the others a chance to talk nonsense. Luffy looked at the others and shouted seriously, okay. I'll leave her to you. Kong, you must follow me. Promise me. Luffy roared angrily. Don't worry, my dream has not come true yet, I will definitely follow you. Captain, Kong responded. But, is it really possible? A guy of this strength? Kong is not sure. Zoro has 3 knives in hand. His teeth are about to break. This is my opponent. Kong turned around and gave him a reassuring gesture. Don't worry. Suo-da, don't worry, don't forget, I am a ninja. Zoro Shark Teeth said. Who is worried about you? B*********** D fishing guy. I'm afraid that you, like curly eyebrow, will fall under a woman's skirt. Sanji was furious. Are you looking for death? Green algae head. What I hate most are transvestites. Happy farewell. Navigator Nami mustered up the courage to show her head and reminded, Kong. If you don't come, your treasure and the Dark Crow will be mine. Threat. Naked threat. Water separation failed. Sure enough, it is a bit difficult to drag a general into the water. Shadow clone jutsu. Kong didn't care about anything else and entered a serious state. Sharingan glanced around frantically. Mangekyo's observation ability was terrifying. Whoosh. The light of the knife streaked across the sky. The rolling giant wave was split into 2 parts, and a wet beauty jumped out of it. Gion stepped on the air in an unscientific way, and Newton couldn't get up anyway, so why bother? This is one of the 6 moves of moonwalk. Marine, similar to Wudang Qinggong, ladder cloud zong. Kick in the air when jumping and change the trajectory before falling. Gion stepped left and right in the air, and then landed lightly on a piece of wood. I know who you are. Arita, the witch of trickery, your ability is really tricky. Who judged this bounty? You could have lost it if you weren't careful. This is said so easily, why are you lying? Fire style Phoenix Sage Flower Nail Crimson. Kong whispered in his mouth, and in an instant, more than a dozen small fireballs wrapped around the shurikens and spurted out. The heat wave distorted the air, and the space seemed to be burning. At the same time, wind release vacuum sphere. Wind and fire intertwined, and a dozen small but sharp wind blades were mixed in the fireball. Light and shadow intertwined. Between light and darkness, the wind blades broke through the air at a faster speed. Ding, ding, ding. This attack is interesting. Although it is not life-threatening, I still feel that after you are hit, your follow-up attacks will be continuous. Before Gion could finish his words, the seawater surged, and 3 streams of water flowed in like a lion majesty. Gion jumped up and escaped the water yab's decisive blow. Gion's eyes became solemn, and he couldn't help but tighten the handle of the knife in his hand. If he hadn't noticed the fluctuations in the water surface, he would have been tricked by this kid. This battle scene is really gorgeous and full of murder. Faced with Gion's attention, Kong didn't seem to notice at all. At this time, his Sharingan was engorged, capturing every detail of Gion's aerial movements. Gion's knowledge was ridiculously strong, and the speed-tested ninjutsu was of no use at all. Kong directly dismissed the shadow clone, no longer wasting chakra. Chapter 153 Susanoo, Strategy. Secure Asset Portal, your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. Gion's attack came. She held the sword with her right hand and used moonwalk to dodge left and right, leaving a string of afterimages, walking left and right like a ghost. Sharingan had a contraction. Saw it. The sword in Gion's hand flashed, and the sword drawing technique was extremely concise. Drawing the sword seemed to be natural. Kong had also seen Suo-da draw a sword, but with the Gion sword, Kang's eyes felt like it was being cut by a sharp blade. Boom. A wall of water rose from the ground. Kong used his instant body to step on the water and jump back quickly. The speed is good. What a pity. The sound of the air being torn resounded through the sky, and a huge flying slash came to Kong in the blink of an eye. Even though Kong had retreated 39 meters and activated the water column to block it in front, he still could not completely avoid the sharp blow. For the first time, Kong felt that his speed was not fast enough. He knelt on one knee, and there was a deep scar on his chest, which was deep enough to see the bone, and blood slowly seeped out, which looked shocking. Kong. On the melee, the exclamations of the companions echoed with the distance. Even so, the power of that knife still made them shudder. Kong was definitely hurt. Luffy's eyes widened, and his voice even sounded heartbreaking. This unprecedented feeling of powerlessness made him almost collapse. Hateful. Kong could treat Lao Sha lightly, but this time, Luffy clearly felt a rare wavering and uncertainty from Kong. Zoro and Sanji also looked worried. Zoro was even more worried to death. A leather armor was actually hit by a swordsman. This guy, Luffy. Zoro looked at the captain. At this moment, everyone looked at Luffy, even Robin. Bird Poop Coffee seemed to be unable to defeat the lieutenant general. I'm curious, what should the captain do? Luffy looked at the others, struggling in his heart. He firmly pressed the straw hat on his head, and the group hypnosis said. Believe. Kong. We all have to believe in him. At this time, Kong kept complaining in his heart. Is this kind of understatement so perverted? If you don't peel it, you will really die. Really, why do others do this to me? And Luffy can laugh and beat up the boss. It seems that you can't even resist my most ordinary blow. Once I deal with you, those guys will fall into my hands one by one. Gion's voice came, and her charming voice whispered, bringing with it a hint of arrogance. Or do you think you can delay me for a long time? It won't be long. Although Kang kept spurting blood, after listening to Gion's words, his voice was calm but revealed a fierceness. Huh, such an expression shocked Gion. What do you want to do, guy? You shouldn't threaten me with them. I have a hunch. In this vast sea, I might really be able to take your life. At this time, Kang seemed to be possessed by the weasel god, quickly analyzing his opponent. Although no flaw in Gion's body has been found, Gion cannot tread water, and the only thing he relies on now is moonwalk. What he has to do is use his own strengths to attack his weaknesses. The frog at the bottom of the well. Gion's body flashed, and a slash with armed domineering energy was swung out like thunder. The sea surface was split open by this blow, huge ravines extended, and water splashed everywhere. Crack. Sound of cracking bones. The slash hit, but Gion's face didn't look good. Because she clearly felt that her blade was blocked by some strange force. Water mist began to spread, which was steam formed by high temperature evaporation of seawater. Kang's voice in the fog came with a hint of pain. This kind of pain is really unforgettable. As the fog dissipated, a fiery red skeleton appeared out of thin air above the sea. Although the red skeletal arm was in pieces, Gion's slash was blocked. Open black lens bracket Susanoo close black lens bracket. Kang covered his eyes. The pain was indescribable. Is it so painful just in the initial form? Is this the pain you've been feeling, Itachi? At this moment, Kang seemed a little pitiful for Weasel. He was mentally and physically tortured. No wonder he was so young. 12. Susan's body began to repair, and Kang's blood and tears continued to drip. However, it is just physical pain. As long as you stop Gion's pursuit, you won't have to worry. The Straw Hats can still continue sailing, that's enough. His dream is to watch other people realize their dreams, and no one can stop him. Thinking of this, Kang couldn't help but smile. He looked up at Gion, which was already emptying out, full of fighting spirit. Come on, Gion, even if I risk these eyes, I will keep you. Gion frowned slightly and said, can it still be recovered? You really make me feel very troublesome. What is this red thing? It can actually block my domineering sword. Her tone was no longer relaxed and pleasant, but she looked squarely at the bloody man in front of her for the first time. Blood slid down the man's eyes, and it was obvious that the guy opposite was not relaxed at this time. Those eyes of yours seem to contain an inexplicable curse. You are sacrificing something to obtain this power. Is it life, or soul? Unexpectedly, just from the first contact, Gion guessed everything about Susanoo's situation. Seeing this, Kang had nothing to hide and said directly, my ultimate defense, Susanoo, as for the others, I just need to stop you. Stop me, what a joke. Gion suddenly approached at a high speed. Kang's pupils shrank, his arms turned into ribs, completely wrapping his body and entering a defensive state. Kang, who was surrounded by Gion, slashed wildly, each knife leaving deep slash marks on the bones. Gion seems to be testing the limits of Kang's abilities. Click, click. The skeleton Susanoo was broken and repaired, and the chakra was consumed rapidly while the blood and tears were flowing. Although it was in energy-saving mode, it could not withstand the successive slashes. With Kang's control, the skeleton Susan began to grow a pair of skeleton arms and a head, transforming into a half-length Susan. With the transformation completed, Susanoo became even more red. At the same time as the defense increased greatly, one arm grabbed Gion, and the other wielded the effect of a fly swatter. Get out of my way. Gion moonwalk dodged continuously, distanced himself, and frowned again when he looked at Kang's new form. After a moment, a playful smile appeared on her lips. A very interesting ability. However, this is obviously a thing suitable for persistence. If I turn to attack your companions, what should you do? Kang, who had just experienced a new round of pain, was stunned for a moment after hearing these words. Didn't it mean that people in the pirate world are simple? Why doesn't this guy play by the rules? Susan cannot move now, which is indeed a problem. Kang was silent for a moment and activated the provocation skill. If Vice Admiral Marine doesn't even have the courage to face me, why not find a man to marry, you hungry old woman? Kang controlled Susan, and one arm began to condense flesh and blood. With the power of his eyes after catching the big catfish, and Itachi's understanding of Susanoo, he barely unlocked part of the second form. He can use a very powerful skill in the second form, Yusaka's Magatama. Yusaka's Magatama is Itachi's most powerful long-range attack, and it is also Susanoo's universal move. When activated, it can throw a single or multiple giant Magatama with a Sharingan pattern connected by rope at high speed like throwing shurikens, and attack long-distance targets. It is an ultra-long range and powerful ninjutsu. A ball of shining Magatama appeared in Susanoo's hand, and the seals in Kang's hand continued. After fighting for so long, Sharingan has been observing for a long time, and he has discovered the weakness of moonwalk. But how exactly? We still need to try. If you can, everything will develop as you want. He may not die and still have a chance to make a comeback. Gion's expression on the opposite side changed after hearing Kang's ridicule. She couldn't resist what Kang did in the hallucination space just now. Now Kang's poisonous mouth has successfully hit Gion's weak spot. Gion is murderous. You succeeded in irritating me. I just want to see if you can withstand my strongest blow in this state. Gion sheathed his sword, his face extremely serious, and used moonwalk in a dazzling way, constantly stepping into the air to gain momentum. And Kang also knows what Gion is doing now, continuously superimposing the armor-breaking effect. Wind escape great breakthrough. A strong wind blew out from under Susan's body, covering the front, and at the same time, the fiery red Yusaka's Magatama in Susan's hand was thrown at supersonic speed. Gion was still stepping in the air, capturing the trajectory of the Magatama with his arrogance of seeing and hearing, and even smiled at the seemingly harmless wind that seemed to be harassing. When she was about to use moonwalk to dodge again, what she didn't expect was, after strong winds swept through, moonwalk was empty. Vacuum. Then, a fiery red Magatama came into view in her eyes. Draw your sword. Late. The attack of Yusaka's Magatama hit perfectly. Chapter 154 Sea Escape, Fierce Fighting in the Sea. Secure Asset Portal, your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. At this time, Gion was in a very unhappy mood, because her beautiful face had completely turned into a tabby cat. Although the Magatama was chopped off at the critical moment, the explosive attack still left her disgraced. Kang's Susano had one arm broken and his ribs broken. At this time, the strong wind continued to roar. What kind of monster did I provoke this time? I have such a strong sense of fighting and such a strange ability. At first, she was confident and able to take control of the situation, but when this guy easily destroyed moonwalk, Gion began to realize the seriousness of the problem. What to do without moonwalk? Suddenly, a feeling of heart palpitations came. In the air, she instinctively crossed her hands to protect her head, and then felt a severe burning sensation in her arms. Looking at the black flames that appeared out of thin air in front of her eyes, the corners of her mouth kept twitching. Sure enough, as long as one skill is hit, the subsequent attacks will be endless. She has figured out this opponent's attack habits, but is it useful? What a mistake to fight this weird guy on the sea. The black flame keeps burning. Gion already knew that this flame was not simple. He used his weapon to extinguish it, but he had no choice but to let it burn. Fortunately, the armed color can resist it a little. However, when she saw the fiery red, Tathagata divine palm, waving towards her, the corners of her mouth twitched sharply. Paper. Draw a piece of wool on the paper. Such a big palm is comparable to the giant Buddha of Fleet Admiral in the Warring States period, right? She had no choice but to bear it hard. Open black lens bracket iron block close black lens bracket. Armed color hardened. Boom. Susanna swatted at Gion like a fly. The huge force struck, and Gion fell into the water for an unknown number of meters, and finally fell into the deep sea. Success. In the sea, how much strength do you still have? Gion, who fell into the water, breathed a sigh of relief. The power is pretty good, but she wasn't seriously injured. It's not bad to fall into the water. If you can escape the limelight, the flames can be extinguished, right? Gion thought to himself. She forced herself to stand up, clenched the sword in her hand, and slashed behind her. Seeing and hearing Seibaki told him that there was someone behind him. Are you kidding? Behind her is a water avatar of Kang. He placed a water fang bomb at the beginning and hid it in the water, a chess piece that had been buried for a long time. Fishman Demon Boxing Technique 10,000 Tiles Pressing Palm. The Fishman Karate is extremely fast with the blessing of water, quickly approaching the back of Gion. The moment the palm blasted out, the water body turned into water splash under Gion's slash. Puff. Before Gion could recover his haki and use the iron block, he was hit in the back by a punch. Gion, who was in the water, spit out a mouthful of oxygen and was blasted to the bottom by the water. This is Fishman Karate. Gion was shocked. The severe pain in her hands told her that the black flame was actually burning her arms in the water. A mortal black flame. Gion was shocked again. She hurriedly continued covering the hardened arms. What is this man's ability? Gion still seemed in disbelief. On the surface of the water, Kang's body shut down Susanoo instantly, because the slightest chakra is related to the battle situation. He spit out a mouthful of blood, gritted his teeth and jumped into the water. Open black lens bracket water style water shark bullet technique close black lens bracket. A blue shark carried Kang and swam toward the deep sea. The huge water pressure opened the wound on his chest. Kang ignored it, knowing that the opportunity could not be missed, and began to form the seal, the art of water body. In Gion's field of vision, a blue shark rushed towards him with great power. She was finally afraid. This person is not a devil fruit user. Bite. Boom. Water style, or the ninjutsu that Kisame uses exclusively in water. This power multiplied several times, pushing Gion deeper into the sea. Water battle. The inexhaustible water is definitely the battlefield for our sea escape weasel. Open black lens bracket water style walk on board close black lens bracket. This is a kind of teleportation technique used in water to control water flow. There are not many opportunities to use it, but it is just right for this battlefield. Kang suddenly appeared behind Gion. Open black lens bracket water style water blade slash close black lens bracket. The kunai in his hand turned into a water blade, and he slashed towards Gion's neck. Gion didn't expect Kang to chop her with a knife. Play melee combat. Clang. The kunai was blocked, but the water blade passed by Gion's hair, hunting cattle across the mountain. True or false? This man's ability is so weird. Shi Kang's fighting consciousness is extremely terrifying, and he is the kind of person who is ruthless and doesn't talk much. Gion now feels as if he is being targeted by Lion Majesty. She raised her right hand that was burned by the flames, and turned the knife into a half-moon, fast and fierce. In the deep sea, her attack speed was hindered by the current and slowed down countless times. But in Shi Kang's eyes, it was still faster than the sky. Because, wow, water body, not good, Gion is panicking. In the dark deep sea, two high-speed attacks appeared on the left and right at the same time, one on the left and one on the right. She couldn't cope with the dim environment. Which one is the real body? Gion's knowledge and color have reached its limit. All it takes is one hit. She still has a chance to make a comeback. After 2 slashes, wow, the 2 clones turned into water splashes one after another. But Shi Kang's body was far away, far beyond her perception of the domineering power. He is not a fool to fight a swordsman in close combat. Gulu, Gulu. Shi Kang spat out circles of bubbles, and his oxygen was insufficient. The wounds on his body collapsed, and he could not support it for much longer. And Gion's body couldn't bear it even more. In this desperate deep sea without oxygen, no matter how strong his physical fitness was, what? Hateful. It hurts. So hot. The word, escape, flashed in Gion's heart. Because the armor-covered domineering energy was constantly being consumed, the blackened arms began to burn hot. No matter how unbelievable it was, Gion had to accept a reality. Her current physical injuries have affected her ability to perform. She really couldn't figure out how to deal with this black inflammation. Now, the black inflammation on her arm makes it difficult for her to wield a knife. Shi Kang's test was almost done. Gion couldn't see him at all. He relied on sight, hearing and color recognition. Now his distance was safe enough. If you want to go up, ask me first. With the ceiling completed. Final blow. Natural disaster level ninjutsu, water style senshi samurai. Chakra sharks appear one after another, grinning. For Gion today, one big shark is far less of a threat than thousands of small sharks. I will use this technique to send you to the sea. What about Vice Admiral Marine? So what about a shadow level powerhouse? Seize the flaw. I'll give you seconds. Gion swung out 2 swords, annihilating dozens of sharks with each sword. But, they can't be killed. They can't be killed at all. Gion sensed the endless swarm of sharks attacking, and she fell into despair. Killing these sharks will only waste her energy and the little air she has left. Open black lens bracket iron block close black lens bracket. And the guy who rates this bounty. It hurts. The pain in my eyes and the pain in my chest broke out in an instant. However, looking around, there are no human figures anywhere. This feeling is suffocating. Gion gritted his teeth and covered his whole body with military colors. The undressed Gion let go of his famous sword, Kinpira, and the 2 sank into the depths of the sea. It seems that I won. The series of shark bites and self-destruction seems to have no end. Because of their bond, Luffy and the others finally came back. They said they should believe it, but in fact, it was Luffy who was most worried about his friends. It must be right here. Nami looked around. She couldn't be wrong. Where's that marine? Where's the fishing guy? Armed, hardened. They won't die together, right? Usopp felt negative because he thought of self-destruction. Coupled with the burning of Amaterasu, Gion exhaled another breath of air in pain. ... She sighed inwardly. If you want to drink, drink the strongest wine. If you want to FK the hottest girl, Lieutenant General Marine will win. Sister Shi Kang. Shi Kang mingled among the sharks, regardless of whether the other party could see it or not. He grinned and gestured with his lips. What a piece of iron, what a commendable courage. Under the observation of Shi Kang Sharingan, he has confirmed that Gion is unconscious. I can't faint yet. The strong will twisted. Because Amaterasu's flames began to burn fiercely, her arms were bloody and bloody. As the tide surges, on the sea, calm and calm. Boom boom boom. Shi Kang's eyes began to blur. Damn fisherman. At this time, a whirlpool appeared on the sea, and then spun faster and faster. Boom. With a sound, a vortex of water rose into the sky. One mistake will lead to eternal hatred. If you fail to show off, you will be. Even if I become a ghost, I will never let you go. Open black lens bracket water style broken current close black lens bracket. Boom boom boom. Chapter 155 Pirate Princess. Secure Asset Portal. Your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. Chopper. 2 serious injuries. Ah, doctor. Hey, do you want to save this woman too? Is she an enemy? What are you talking about, green algae head? This is Lady. Go away. Luffy, don't walk around with meat. Chopper, can you do it without letting her wake up? There was a lot of excitement on the boat. Shi Kang's return made everyone feel happy and sad. The good news is that Shi Kang defeated a Marine Lieutenant General near death. The doctor's diagnosis was very bad news. The heart was slightly damaged, the cut injury was not treated in time, and it was soaked in seawater. If it were an ordinary person, he would have died long ago. It is already a miracle that he is alive. This shows that Shi Kang already has some blood cow physique. However, the most important thing is that he lost too much blood and his blood type is extremely special. This is a blood type that even Chopper has never seen. The doctor's prescription is, Kang, this little crispy guy, needs to rest and take tonics, and he must not fish vigorously, let alone use fishing skills. As for the woman Kang didn't dare to kill, Xiaoba held up a big syringe and expressed proudly, she couldn't wake up. Kang, on the other hand, grabbed Chopper's hoof tremblingly and seemed to have something to say. Alabasta East Port, Mollusk. The sun shines on the sparkling sea, and the air is filled with an atmosphere of joy and anticipation. At this time, Vivi's national speech spread throughout Alabasta. Citizens flocked to Albana. After everyone rescued Kang, they waited for Vivi at the port. Boom. Kang, don't fall asleep. Wake up. Chopper performed the wake-up call job competently. Wei is here. Kang was covered in bandages and his chest was still bleeding, sitting half dead on the deck. Because of Kang's request, Chopper dragged him to the deck and promised not to let him fall unconscious. Chopper said with tears in his eyes that he understood, this is the bond of partners. For the first time, he violated his medical ethics and gave Kang an injection of adrenaline, and was also responsible for the fist wake-up business. Sanji lit a cigarette and flickered it in the breeze. With a hint of helplessness in his words, he persuaded, let's go, Luffy. It's past 12 o'clock. However, Luffy is as stubborn as a child and is determined not to give up. She won't fail to come, let's get off the boat to find her. At this time, Usopp pointed at the sea and shouted anxiously, no, Marine is here. After hearing this, Zoro's face was full of anger. Why is it Marine again? It's endless, right? Zoro looked at Luffy who was unwilling to give up, and then at Kang who was sleepy. He held the flag and shouted, get ready to sail, turn the helm. Throw away that stinky woman. Zoro's words, Usopp execute quickly. Sanji on the side continued to persuade. Just give up, Luffy, she is different now when she is with us. Luffy pursed his lips and did not answer, seemingly acquiescing to Zoro's order to set sail. When the boat had turned and sailed some distance away, Vivi's shout came from the shore. Everyone, quack, partner. Luffy jumped onto the fence, and shouted excitedly, it's Vivi. Run fast. Dumb, partner duck, look, she's really here. Turn around. Luffy turned to Usopp with a smile on his face. After hearing this, Usopp made an okay gesture and immediately went to take the helm. Vivi. Nami looked pleased. During this period, her relationship with Vivi was the best, and she couldn't bear to part with this good best friend. And Zoro was a little surprised by Vivi's choice. Obviously this country needs her more. Who? Vivi. I believe you will definitely come. Who? Vivi-chan. Sanji's eyes turned into hearts, cheering for the upcoming third girl. This speed of face change. Kang's ears twitched and he opened his eyes in a daze. Partner. Famous scene. I can't faint. Our little Chopper raised his hands to express his happiness and fear, and almost threw the girl in his hands into the water. Because. Straw Hat Boy. You can't run away. Smoker's roar sounded like thunder, with excitement in his words. After receiving the news from Tina, Smoker used his excellent sixth sense to lock the port. However, a little girl appeared halfway, crying and wanting to be a marine. The look like he would kill himself if he didn't agree gave Smoker a splitting headache. He and Dasky wasted a little time. But I didn't expect that the Straw Hats were still there. Nico Robin stood on the watchtower and reminded everyone. You'd better decide quickly, Smoker is here. You don't want to leave one more person behind, do you? Zoro pulled out his knife and looked at Smoker, who was getting closer and closer, with a murderous look in his eyes. At this time, Vivi on the shore suddenly shouted, I'm here to say goodbye to everyone. These words made everyone's smiles freeze instantly. What is she talking about? Luffy was puzzled. He had already rushed here, but he came to say goodbye. Vivi took off the phone bug microphone from the Kodak duck, and now her words are transmitted back to all parts of Alabasta. Sorry, I can't leave with you. He didn't know why he did this, and he felt inexplicable waves in his heart. Since she chose to be a princess, let's say goodbye silently like this. Dumb. The dark crow landed on Kang's head and raised its left wing. The insertion was successful. Thank you very much for this time. So, the partners lined up in a row in tacit understanding, raised their hands, and the crosses on their arms were displayed in front of Vivi's eyes. Luffy was about to reply, but was interrupted by Nami. It's the mark of a partner. If you have your own pursuits and what you want to do, Luffy will understand and respect you. Although I also want to take risks, my love for this country is deep. Vivi couldn't hold back her tears in the end. Tears burst out of her eyes like broken pearls. She cried. Vivi burst into tears and smiled after seeing the familiar logo. Smoker was very unhappy, and the struggle and dissatisfaction in his heart could not be calmed down. At this moment, the entire people of Alabasta know the story of the bond between Princess Vivi and a group of just men. Nicole Robin looked at this scene with mixed emotions. These guys. You can't respond to her. If evidence is collected about her and Vivi will be convicted. There were exclamations from the warship over there. From now on, no matter what happens, this mark on my left wrist. Vivi's sobbing sound echoed throughout Alabasta. I decided to stay here. If we meet again one day, can you still call me partner? Thank you, friends. She shouted silently in her heart, raising her left hand with Kodakaya. Shut up, Smoker roared. Even if we can't fight side by side, our hearts are still connected. A partner is a partner. How can the hot-blooded chapter be embarrassing? Ha ha ha, laughing awkwardly. Smoker kept hinting to himself. A pirate is a pirate. He will not change his evil nature just because he has done a few good things. Our protagonist, Kang, who was dying of illness, sat up in shock, raised his left hand and inserted it forcefully. This was the only part that was not bandaged. Did you hear that? The Princess of Alabasta actually colluded with pirates. Nami explained in a deep voice. That's it. Luffy heard this, and after being silent, a big smile appeared on his face. Even so, Smoker still gave the order to slow down. Vivi is still waiting for her partner's reply. This will never change, because this is their bond. Being friends with a princess. No way. It turns out they are not unwilling. Chapter 156 Alabasta Finale. After watching a touching scene, Smoker shouted to Dasky, who kept wiping her tears. Dasky, give the order to fire. We will definitely not let them run away this time. Yes. Dasky saluted a sailor. Sailor. After a boring naval battle, Smoker's ship was hit by Usopp. After a while of embarrassment, they picked up a lifeboat. Lying peacefully above was a female marine. This is Lieutenant General Guion. Smoker was so frightened that he dropped his cigar. The clown in the cell of the warship Buggy Pirate's cell. I didn't hear Arita. It seems they are the Straw Hats, our old acquaintances. Ha ha, ha ha ha. Buggy in the shadows laughed horribly. Of course, if you turn on the light, you will find that Buggy is paralyzed on the ground, with no strength in his body. Alita on the side was the same, but her situation seemed to be much better. Because I had Hash as your Buggy. If it weren't for you, how could I have been caught? And the abominable cuckoo Dichi Kong. I must kill you. Buggy the clown laughed twice and said awkwardly, don't worry, Arita. Unless I want to be caught, how can a mere sea-floor stone handcuffs trap me? If Arita hadn't been by her side, she would have believed this clown so quietly as she watched Buggy act cool. Bang, bang, bang. Ligi, give me harder. Have you eaten yet? Roar. Ligi's hands were swollen and there was nothing he could do with the sea-floor stone handcuffs. Ha, ha ha. Buggy awkwardly changed the subject. By the way, Arita, when did you realize domineering? What domineering? What are you talking about? Arita looked confused. That's all, just think of it as me taking you to further your studies this time. Buggy feels that the final destination of the two of them is the Tailanchao, underwater great prison. Everyone there is talented and speaks well, so it doesn't matter if you go there. Just when Buggy felt that something was wrong this time, he missed his good friend, the third brother. Boom. A shell struck, hitting their cell by chance. The two were overjoyed, and Arita hurriedly directed. Niche, use surf. Plop. Gululu. Everything is Gululu under the plan. It's a pity. Gululu, the third brother, isn't here. Rapeseed Flower Harbor. Von Clay led a group of young men and quickly approached the gallows on the beach. Blood explosion technique. At this time, the blood ejected by Mr. 5 accurately fell on the marine surrounding Ms. Valentine. After several small explosions, Mr. 2 Von Clay rescued Ms. Valentine. Hi, Ms. Valentine's Day, do you miss me? Seeing the person coming, Michita was surprised and happy. Mr. 2. Why are you here? Xiaofeng gave a thumbs up and said with tears in his eyes, of course it's to implement the human monster way of friendship. Invaders. Sailors continued to gather. But Ms. Golden Week emerged from the shadows and flicked the brush in her hand. The black of betrayal instantly infected Marine's clothing, and Marine immediately rebelled. Ms. Golden Week's hypnosis ability is simply a bug. Although it's easy to hide once you know its ability, it shouldn't be too outrageous if you don't have enough information. Take us to where the Baroque studio is imprisoned. Yes, sir. Under the command of Ms. Golden Week, a group of Marines escorted them towards the prison. Temporary prison. Reorganize Baroque studio. Lao Sha looked at the group of tool men in front of him in confusion. You actually want to save yourself. These people actually trust you. Lao Sha felt very uncomfortable when he saw these guys who had already been abandoned by him come to save him. A bunch of idiots who were still counting their money after being sold. Do you want to continue to lead them? What to do? Steal the country? Crocodile laughed at himself. Take the others away, there will no longer be a Baroque studio. Mr. Zero, don't be discouraged. This is just a small failure. Under your leadership, we can still make a comeback. That's right, boss. I can recommend you a good cadre, and I've already thought of the code name, Mr. Red Nose. Everyone, you say something, and I say something. Lao Sha said angrily. Don't you understand? Get out. Finally, Crocodile lit a cigar and watched these idiots leave. Even though the wall next to him was blasted with a big hole by M5's boogers, blood bombs, the breath of freedom was just around the corner, but he was still in low spirits and didn't want to take this step. Lao Sha asked in confusion. Mr. 1, why don't you leave? I don't know, I don't want to leave. Mr. 1 said that your skills are too high, I am learning. HMPH, it's up to you. Lao Sha said disdainfully. Outside the prison, everyone fell silent when they saw Lao Sha, who was unmoved. Ms. put her fingers on her hips and said like a big sister. So, are we going to go our separate ways? Is this so? But I don't know what to do in the future. Ms. Merry Christmas was a little confused. It seems I'd better go back to being a model. Is there anything you want to do? Ms. There is a place to go on Valentine's Day, but there is no room for others. I don't know, Mr. 4 said honestly. Mr. 5 next to him touched his bald head and finally swallowed his words. Mr. 3 adjusted his glasses. In that case, let's separate. Anyway, thank you for saving me. I may become a pirate. I feel that idiot needs me. Then, everyone looked at Mr. 2 and Ms. Golden Week, the initiators of this rescue operation. Mr. 2 Xiaofeng's words, you don't need to read it, must be, promoting the way of being a demon. Everyone looked at the little loli again. At this time, Ms. Golden Week was struggling to adjust the drawing board. In this case, let me paint the final touch of color for the Baroque studio as a farewell gift. The little girl dips her paintbrush into all the colors and then throws it into the sky. Open black lens bracket colorful dream world close black lens bracket. Face your heart. Let everyone become what they want. The colors turn into rainbows and spin and fall. This colorful rainbow shines on every cadre of the Baroque studio, distorting reality and presenting the dreams in their hearts. Everyone's clothes transformed into the outfits of their dreams. Ms. S fingers dream of being an innkeeper. Mr. 4 actually wants to lose weight and become a delivery boy. Ms. S Merry Christmas dream as a princess. A mole princess. No matter how you look at it, it's inconsistent. Mr. 5, a person with explosive fruit abilities, wants to be a firefighter. Ms. talks about being a magazine girl on Valentine's Day, but what she wants to be most is a pastry chef. Mr. 2 and Mr. 3's costumes are the most normal, because their dreams are to be transvestite ballet dancers and candle artists. Gunslinger Rasu, a product of devil fruit, actually has a dream, a tank. In jail, Crocodile looked at the dreams of his former subordinates and complained disdainfully. Your ideals are so childish. Sudden. Wow. Ha ha ha. Crocodile was amused by Mr. 1 next to him. Who would have thought that West Blue's famous killer? His dream is to be a Superman. At this time, Mr. 1 was wearing a tight suit, underwear, a mask, and a red cape behind him. Dressed in a classic heroic style, he shouted, Legion of Evil, Germa 66 inches or something like that. Lao Sha couldn't help but slap the wall, but Mr. 1, who had recovered his senses, looked at Mr. 0 Crocodile with great interest. I think your dream is so great, boss. Crocodile lowered his head in confusion. He was actually wearing a three-cornered pirate hat, a dark blue captain's pirate trench coat and boots, and a wide red belt dotted with gems. This is One Piece. At this moment, Lao Sha was stunned in place. Why? How could it be? This is me. Crocodile looked at everything in front of him with trembling eyes. Is this what he desires most in his heart? So, what have you been doing all these years? Why did Crocodile go to sea? At this moment, Lao Sha seemed to recall himself when he was young. This place is left to us. You go quickly. He, who do you think I am? I'm Crocodile. At this moment, under Ms. Golden Week's hypnosis, he admitted his inner feelings and laughed at himself. Hey, get the sea floor stone handcuffs quickly. At this moment, Xiaofeng's back was very tall. Wait, why did I? Don't move, Crocodile. It turns out I'm a fool too. Don't even think about escaping. Mr. 3, third brother. Zai, the slave family is back to accompany you again. This is Xiaofeng with a wink. Xiaofeng apologized. There is nothing we can do. Xiao 3, after all, I still have to rely on you for defense. Don't hesitate, my friends. The flower of human male friendship will never wither. Tina returned with a group of younger brothers, and a prison sickle trapped a large number of Xiaofeng's friends. Wild and uninhibited laughter echoed in the cell, and a heart-stopping momentum rose from Crocodile. After a while, there was a lot of excitement. After thinking about it, Buggy and Arita escaped from prison, so let's let the rockets chase them for a while. Xiaofeng threw Mr. 3 and stopped Tina without hesitation. And Mr. 3, the Alabasta chapter is over. Facing Tina's question, Crocodile, who was sitting on the stone slab, smiled disdainfully. Tina asked in confusion. Tina is very confused, why don't you run away? E, Mr. 2. The character of Lao Sha, after the release of the Great Prison Under the Sea, is different from the previous reasons, probably because Ms. Golden Week, a little lowly, risked her life to save him, and hypnosis allowed him to see himself clearly. He glanced sideways at the two people thrown in on the ground, and let Marine put the sea stone handcuffs on him again. Ha ha, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, you're a complete idiot, Crocodile. If you haven't killed Guion, you just don't dare to ask. Outside the prison, Tina's cold voice came, what a touching scene. But someone will escort you to important city soon. Enjoy your life under the sun. TMD, why? I was about to run away. This is Mr. 3 with a collapsed face. However, I copied the body parameters, obtained several new skills, and the trophy Jinpailao. In Rog Town, wasn't that ruthless man who faced death with a smile and no fear in his eyes what he had been pursuing? Chapter 157 Recuperation. At the moment when they bid farewell to the blue sea of Alabasta, the figures of the Straw Hats seemed to have been drained of vitality, and they all fell limp, looking as if they had no hope of life. Zoro turned around, sweat dripping from his forehead, and complained. Hey, what are you doing? You are all crying and sad. If you really can't bear to leave, why don't you just kidnap the person like someone did? He tapped his finger gently, aiming directly at Nico Robin on the observation deck. Between the lines, he was clearly ridiculing Captain Luffy's human trafficker behavior. And everyone's reaction after hearing this was, Barbarian. Poor. Green algae head. Dumb. Dumb. The Lost Swordsman. Mito stream. Hey, Luffy. Santo Ryu isn't a curse word. Four sword styles. Nicole Robin couldn't help but laugh at the scene, looking at this scene in a funny way, and suddenly started to think. The three sword style is biting with the mouth, so what should the four sword style be like? Upon seeing this, Zoro's veins appeared faintly, and he waved helplessly at this group of incorrigible companions. Okay, I understand, just cry until you die. I'm going to exercise. Zoro is ready to catch up while the fisherman is unconscious. He couldn't figure out how the fishing guy defeated the general-level swordsman. Is the gap between them already so wide? We were all together, but when did the fishing guy overtake us? While distracted, Zoro began to swing his sword and dumbbells as if no one was watching. This wave startled Nami, who was about to open the store. Boom. Bang. There was a sound, and Nami gave him an unceremonious bang. Get to the stern of the boat. This is very dangerous. Zoro, who was covering his head, looked innocent, but was speechless inside. How did these people recover so quickly? They can change their faces faster than turning the pages of a book. Could it be that they learned it from curly eyebrows? If this continues, the space will not be enough. Is it time to change the ship? I want a dedicated gym. Zoro's proposal was immediately opposed by Usopp. He pointed at the oranges of Cocoa West, and complained. It's not like Nami's store occupies a warehouse. Meili can always have enough. That's right. Meili is also our partner. We can't change it. Luffy agreed. Luffy. Usopp was moved after hearing this. Damn it. You actually said that my shop takes up space. After hearing this, Nami took out his notebook and scratched his voice. His voice was not loud, but it was very shocking. Usopp. Your loan limit has dropped by 100,000 belly. These words made Usopp quickly beg for mercy. It was not only Bailey, but also his explosive star. At this time, Chopper suddenly ran over in a hurry, grabbing Nami's trousers. Nami. I want to buy ice water. Kang has a fever and needs to cool down. The only store on the ship that has a high-tech refrigerator is Nami's store. Yes, wait a minute, ice water is free. Upon hearing this, Nami quickly opened the door of the store, put away the Luffy clip, and opened the locked refrigerator. While taking out the ice water, he did not forget to hand Chopper a piece of ice cream. This is a reward for Dr. Chopper. There is no charge. You must take good care of that guy. Chopper took the ice cream and took a bite. It's so sweet. Thank you, Nami. After seeing off the happy Chopper, Nami began to sort out the newly arrived goods. Looking at the pile of miscellaneous specialty plants, she frowned slightly, then rolled her eyes, pretending to be sad. This sea buckthorn fruit and banana cactus are so heavy, it would be great if someone could help me plant the small garden above. It's a pity that I don't have my own knight. Sanji, who was far away in the kitchen, suddenly moved his ears. He felt called. Sanji appeared and disappeared, revealing Brother Pig's head, with freshly squeezed juice dangling in his hand, and a heart-like expression on his face. Nami-chan, I seem to have heard your call. Leave this little thing to me. I will definitely protect your little garden. Also, this is freshly squeezed orange juice. Sanji, thank you, moi. Nami blew a kiss. Sanji's chest beat wildly. Is this what love feels like? Sanji-kun, can I have a glass of watermelon juice? Nicole Robin asked with a smile. Heart for all heart, Robin-chan. Although he lost Vivi, but still has Robin, Sanji's life is still very complete. This is love in the hot sand, specially prepared for you. Sanji, I want it too. Luffy and Usopp suddenly appeared. You can buy the drink for free, so there is no need to buy it. Sanji changed his face instantly and said unceremoniously, Kaido, yours is in the kitchen, get it yourself. Also, remember to go fishing after drinking. I left in a hurry this time and don't have much food reserves. Ah, why hasn't Kang woke up yet? Luffy collapsed when he heard that there might be no meat to eat. Robin covered his mouth and chuckled, enjoying the tranquility of the afternoon. Perhaps, such a life is not bad. So, everyone took a rest in this sea area and hunted some prey, such as sand painting, sand sculpture, cactus potted plant, camel milk, Vivi same style princess dress, cosplay accompanying experience voucher. Sanji retorted. Did you forget that there was a welcome ceremony for Miss Robin? And did you catch any fish? The Murkrow transforms into a large bird that is used as bait to seduce. Nami's eyes turned into crescent moons, and she smiled. Oh. A big customer is here. What kind of wine do you want? Premium product or special edition? Luffy said feebly. Why isn't Kang awake yet? I want to have a party. He is always curious about unknown new wines. Zoro, sweating profusely, also came over and said to Nami. Okay, Oranges in Cocoa West has reopened. New Alabasta specialties, limited quantity, first come first served. There was food, but Kang still didn't wake up. Luffy didn't agree, and the welcome banquet couldn't be held. Desert Rose Perfume, 100,000 Bailey's bottle, fragrant and elegant, the romance of desert flowers. On this day, Luffy suddenly had a sudden impulse and ordered to set sail. Hey, Luffy, didn't we just have dinner? And we agreed to only buy bait. Nami clapped her hands and announced, her smile as bright as the sun. I'm feeling adventurous. Kids, set sail. On the shelves, a variety of products are dizzying. Life on the sea is always so boring. So many things. No wonder. eyelashes, take 2 steps to catch their breath. Looking at the dazzling array of new products, everyone was sweating, and suddenly thought of the eyelashes in the fast army. Chopper caught a seahorse for bait. Nami, bring me a bottle of ice-cold cactus wine. I should have a lot of credit left, right? Everyone secretly thought, thank you for your hard work. It took 2 days of leisure. As the poorest member of the team, Usopp is looking forward to Kang's dividends after he wakes up. Sea buckthorn juice, 5,000 Bailey's cup, moderately sweet and sour, quenching thirst and refreshing. In the end, Zoro left with 2 bottles of wine with his head full of stars, feeling that something was wrong. Desert dried meat, 10,000 Bailey's, 500 grams, rich in meat aroma and unique taste. Luffy was the first to arrive at the store. It's desert jerky. Nami, I want 10 pieces of desert jerky and a can of fish bait. Cactus wine, 10,000 Bailey's cup, unique flavor and endless aftertaste. Luffy looked constipated and all the bait was eaten by him. How about we take a break and prepare some ingredients? Luffy is the captain, he has the final say. Chapter 158 talking about Sky Island, physical examination. Miss Navigator, there is nothing wrong with the records. No, the northwest direction is correct, Sister Robin. As the only 2 women on the boat, Nami and Robin's relationship heated up very quickly in the past 2 days. It's so annoying, why hasn't Kang woke up yet? Luffy was fishing and raised his head with disgust. Nami, will it snow on the next island? Nami looked at the pointer without raising her head, you still want to see the snow. Robin was very familiar with this sea area and explained, follow Alabasta's pointer and the next island is Chu Island. Akashima, it's okay. I also like autumn. There are Saori. Which island doesn't Luffy like? But, will he really follow this route? Tick-tock, tick-tock. Zoro was lifting dumbbells by the garden when he suddenly felt a strange noise in the sky. It's raining. Sanji raised his hand with a puzzled look on his face. This feeling doesn't feel like rain, but hail. Dumb. Dark Crow pointed to the sky anxiously. Usopp sensed something instantly. No, everyone. There seems to be something in the air. It's about to fall. It's huge. Everyone raised their heads when they heard the sound, and saw more sawdust floating from the sky. A dilapidated pirate ship that was dozens of times larger than the Mary was hanging upside down and approaching the sea like a visitor from outer space. At this moment, everyone was stunned, dripping with cold sweat, and the shock was beyond words. Boom. Fortunately, the ship did not hit the melee, but just fell next to the melee. However, the huge waves stirred up also caused the melee to shake. Chopper was about to fall into the sea by accident. Robin used the fruit's ability to pull Chopper back, and at the same time issued a reminder. Be careful, everyone, hold on to the boat quickly, don't fall. Because bigger waves are coming. Huge waves rushed towards us like an angry dragon. In an instant, the cowardly trio hugged the mainmast tightly, shrouded in fear. Nami exclaimed repeatedly. What is going on? How could this happen? Usopp comforted himself in panic, deceiving himself and murmuring, this is a dream. Yes, it's definitely a dream. After hearing this, Chopper breathed a sigh of relief and said happily, it turned out to be a dream. It's great. Chopper actually believed Usopp's words again. At this time, Sanji noticed that things were falling from the sky again, and immediately reminded, be careful, something is falling again. Just hearing a dull, dong, sound, Chopper was hit by the sudden wine barrel and fell into a sweet dream. And Robin used the fruit power in time to cover him with a quilt. Nami was startled and hurriedly said to Zoro who was closest to the helm, Zoro, turn the helm quickly. Turn the helm. It's weird that such a big wave is useful. Zoro replied helplessly. Sanji kicked away a huge debris and said to Luffy, stabilize the ship first. Otherwise, Melee won't be able to carry it. Good. Luffy's arms were suddenly stretched out, as if embracing his beloved Mary, and he skillfully swayed from side to side to the rhythm of the huge waves to stabilize the Mary ship and wait for the wave to pass. But Usopp God tier is trying to dispel this unreal dream through meditation. When faced with danger, you should not be afraid. First close your eyes and rest your mind. Then open your eyes again and look, what a peaceful morning. But fate likes to play tricks. When he slowly opened his eyes, what greeted him was a skull falling downwards in front of him. Wah! Usopp's terrified screams pierced the sky. God Usopp, dizzy. In the midst of the chaos, a confused yet familiar voice sounded. Hey, what's going on now? It turned out to be Kang, a bewildered patient who had just been awakened by screams and violent shaking. When everyone saw this, they seemed to have grasped a life-saving straw and shouted in unison. Kang, fisherman, help quickly. As Kang used water style to help, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Kang is there. Nami patted his chest with a shocked look on his face. Fortunately, Kang appeared in time, otherwise the car would have crashed and everyone would have died. In a sense, Kang protects Melee better than anyone else, and because of him, Melee suffered a lot less damage. Kang saw such debris falling from the sky. Although he knew it, he was still shocked when he saw the real scene. They are full of curiosity about the next trip to the Sky Island. Adventure is the greatest fun of their pirate group. At this time, Usopp and Chopper woke up from their dream and hugged each other to warm each other. Robin was confused about the impurities on the boat and seemed to remember something. Luffy looked at the sky and wondered, why? Why do ships fall from the sky? Zoro echoed. But there is nothing in the sky now, and no flying objects can be seen. Kang heard this and smiled slightly. Kaido, is it possible that this, flying object, is a very common thing, such as a reference object for soda? Everyone was puzzled for a while, but only Zoro understood. What do you mean, you stinky fisherman? Don't think that because you are a patient, I won't dare to kill you. Just because I want to test your skills. Ah, what should I do? Nami exclaimed. What's wrong, Miss Nami? Sanji asked immediately. Seeing the record pointer on Nami's wrist pointing strangely towards the sky, Nami said in confusion. The record pointer is broken and the pointer is pointing upward. This scene seems like the pointer is broken, but at this time, our new partner Nicole Robin, who likes to read, appears. Kang watched all this quietly. It seemed that nothing happened to him at this moment. The Straw Hats had already gathered most of the characters. It is said to be an island, but more accurately it is a sea in the sky. Let's go. Turn the rudder up. Luffy gave the order. However, Robin did hear about this place from the classics, but there must be an island where the record pointer points. This is an iron rule. Through the analysis of skulls, Robin showed his expertise as an archaeologist and revealed the identity of the ship that descended from the sky. The St. Bliss, an exploration ship from the kingdom of South Blue Bliss 208 years ago. When Kang and Chopper heard the shouting outside, their 3 steps turned into 2 steps and they ran out. Luffy, the ship is sinking. Run. Although you got all the answers correct, the doctor's experience tells me that you are a little short-sighted. My new topic is medicine to treat myopia. Kang's body still needs to recuperate, but Chopper discovered a new problem. Robin's ability was displayed for the first time, and everyone expressed their admiration. Kang, I want to give you a physical examination. Chow Huzi appeared in a white coat. Is it an island floating in the sky? And Luffy and the others actually believed in him. A serious expedition ship should leave various evidence or navigation records. Facing everyone's confusion, Robin explained the legendary existence of Sky Island to everyone. Snap, snap. Moreover, how can this blood disease be cured? The pointer is pointing up, which means that the record was taken away by the empty island. Chopper nodded with satisfaction. Yes, all the answers are correct. No, it seems to be attracted by the island with stronger magnetism, thus replacing the new record. Chopper's infirmary. Then, with a serious look on his face, Chopper added, myopia, after, hair loss, in Kang's medical record. Chopper patted the blackboard, pointed at an E, and asked, then which direction is this? At this moment, Robin seemed to be unable to believe his guess. So, all we can do is look for clues. Right. With such a wonderful existence, Luffy and Usopp's adventurous minds were instantly aroused, and they immediately wanted to set off to Sky Island. Did you hear that? Up the rudder and move forward at full speed. Shoot. Kang was confused. Is there such a medicine in the world? Over there, Luffy and Usopp were jumping up and down like monkeys, and even ventured onto the small remaining wreckage of the ship floating on the sea. What is Sky Island? Robin looked at all this with a smile, and suddenly felt that these guys were silly and cute. If it were other people, they would have laughed at her imagination. Chapter 159 5 Lightning Fishing Consecutives. Super 47. Beauties of the year 2024. Sexiest women alive. Learn more. On deck. How's it going? How's it going? Chopper, who instantly transformed from a doctor into a funny guy, asked with excitement on his face. Luffy and Usopp's treasure hunting trip was very fruitful. Before the ship sank, they actually found the map of the Sky Island. Everyone gathered around Nami in anticipation. Nami put away the map and poured a basin of cold water on it. Don't be too happy. It's just possible. There are too many deceptive maps in the world. But she turned around and saw the 3 faces of Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper, who were so pale and twisted that their lives were meaningless. Ah, this look scared Nami into a screaming chicken, and she could only apologize non-stop. Yes, I'm sorry. There is an empty island, there must be. But, Nami turned and said furiously, I don't know how to get there. What can she do? The needle is indeed pointing to the sky, but they can't fly. At least Mary still has to obey the laws of physics, right? Luffy was unyielding and said as if he was taking it for granted, aren't you a navigator? Think of a way. After hearing this, Nami rolled her eyes and almost rolled her eyes to Kang Dao. Hey. I'm telling you, don't force others to do anything. Luffy is willful. I don't care, I'm going to Sky Island. Nami took a deep breath, and after a ding-dong, Usopp and Chopper took 2 steps back and whistled. The world is quiet, therefore, what they need now is information. So, everyone focused on the sunken ship again. Hey, Kang, we need Mu. What are you doing? Nami looked confused. What Mu? No chakra does that kind of thing. Kaido casually said. Kang moved quickly because he thought that the shipwreck just now was considered a nest. So, Kang, you can't fish. Your wounds will burst. Chopper stepped forward to pull him away. As one of the few patients on the ship, Dr. Chopper certainly has to fulfill his duties. However, 2 water bodies clamped Chopper on the left and right, and they couldn't say anything. Don't stop me, Chopper. I feel the call of the sea. Luffy looked cute. Can you catch the boat? This weird concept of a fisherman might actually work. Nami thought of this and cheered up in a strange way. Okay, Kang just goes all out like this. I believe you can get useful information. So, everyone moved the benches to the fishing den, and just watched Chi Kong fishing, which was quite stressful. Then, Nami pushed a small wooden cart over. Beer, drinks, instant noodles. Come on, give way, ha. Chicken's fishing did not disappoint. Open black lens bracket kettle close black lens bracket open black lens bracket clock close black lens bracket. Ahem. These things are a bit strange. Broken sailor knife ordinary clown fish. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Damaged beauty photos 0.4 inches forced appointment octopus. This. After a while, the ashamed Robin put down the magnifying glass, shook his head and said that these things were of no use. And Chi Kong. I lost it. Nami. 30 more special baits. Chi Kong took out his suitcase from his crotch, and suddenly it was filled with golden light. Damn, it's only 30. If you don't come up again, I'll smash this damn fishing rod. While everyone was confused, Chi Kong used a metaphysical fishing method, and his pole kept shaking. This is fishing method. Boy, will this work. Shortly after, the supreme quick rod was shaking abnormally, and everyone shouted that it was unscientific. Chi Kong pulled the fishing rod, held the handle tightly, and his pupils suddenly shrank. For the physique of the forced appointment was given directly. Took the bait. Big guy. Chi Kong shouted. His expression was unprecedentedly serious and determined. What? Did you really catch the boat? Nami looked suspicious. Usopp was surprised to find that there was a huge shadow lurking under the Mary. His voice was trembling and almost deformed. Chi Kong, you won't, right? This is not a sedated laboon. Melee will sink. Chopper also felt the strangeness of Chi Kang's state, and struggled hard in the water body, trying to stop. Chi Kong, don't do it. Your body won't be able to bear it. At this moment, Chi Kong looked at death as if he were home, like a warrior. Haha, as a fisherman, how can I refuse such a challenge? He stood up calmly and walked steadily towards the side of the ship while lowering the line. The target this time is undoubtedly a giant ocean beast comparable to Laboon. Once caught alone, the physical enhancement it will bring will be unimaginable. Last time Laboon needed help, it was because of lack of strength. But these days are different. This time, if you want to catch fish, catch the toughest fish. There is no joy in life, no fear in death. I enjoy being a fisherman in this life, and I will still be a fisherman in the next life. Chi Kang's body was trembling with excitement, he was determined. Hey, you're not joking, right? Sanji almost dropped his cigarette. However, compared to the shock of others, Luffy was completely opposite. He had a firm look on his face, stood in front of everyone, and shouted to Chi Kong. Chi Kong, I feel your will, come on. As soon as Luffy finished speaking, there was a whoosh sound, and Chi Kong was dragged towards the sea by an incredible force in the eyes of everyone in shock. Everyone. H_H. Under the water, a huge turtle swam gently, and debris was still scattered around its mouth. This debris was clearly the target of the Straw Hats, the wreckage of the Sand Bliss. Wherever the turtle passed, all the alien species, including a large water snake, carefully avoided it. Yes, as the crown alien species in this water area. It's so powerful. It had just arrived at the shipwreck, and it looked around but didn't find anything delicious. Suddenly, it was attracted by a special smell, and the direction of that smell turned out to be a ship. Then it became. At this time, the big turtle chewing the boat was a little dissatisfied, because a very thin but extremely tough silk thread hung up his mouth. In its perception, it can break free as long as it exerts force, which makes it very confused. What the hell is this? On the water, Chi Kong was dragged along. This scene reminded him of deja vu and the days when he was fishing in the sea. Chakra condenses on the soles of the feet, splashing water like a surfboard. Finally, he stepped on a rock, stabilized his figure, and shouted, "You are very strong. I recognize you." Open black lens bracket lightning 5 fishing close black lens bracket. Although, lightning 5 fishing is not as good as 18 fishing, it is famous for its speed. This is Chi Kang's own fishing technique combined with Tai Chi in his previous life. At that time, teacher Ma's Xingyi Tai Chi was popular. He learned this trick by chance while watching short videos and fishing. Chi Kong once used it to catch a 200-pound bluefin tuna. This time, for the sake of this sea beast, he resolutely used this technique to sacrifice the flag first. The moment Chi Kong stabilized his body, he kept rubbing his palms, 5 times in a group, and his body began to shake unconsciously due to the exertion. Suddenly, this kind of shaking went along the fishing rod, along the fishing line, and went straight to the body of the big turtle. The wrestling value is 7%, 8%, and all the way up to 12%, there is no progress. The big turtle under the water just felt his head shaking a little. He tilted his head and thought for a while, then suddenly exerted force. The angle value is quickly cleared to 0. Faced with such a behemoth, this quick response fishing technique seems powerless to fight back. Is this my power now? When Chi Kong saw this, chakra surged in his hands, turned on the huge power mode, and shouted unwillingly, "Hold it. Chi Kong, your body, I can't use fishing skills anymore." Chopper exclaimed at the side of the boat, tears flashing in his eyes. But Chopper's response was, "The secret of fishing. Catch. Transform. Send." Chapter 160 Physique Surges, King Ape. Catch. Chi Kong shouted loudly, leaned forward with the fishing rod, and caught the terrifying force of the giant thing in the water with both hands. Even if his chest burst and blood flowed horizontally, he didn't care. Keep the angle value stable at around 18%. Change. As the fishing rod shook slightly, blood spilled again. Kang used the characteristics of Tai Chi to break down the terrifying power into a power that he could control. The wrestling value climbed to 37%, which is the ultimate level of Kang's manpower. But don't forget, he is the man who possesses Mangekyo Sharingan. He is no longer an ordinary ninja. He also has the last trump card. Hair. Once you say it, the world will follow you. This word is like a mantra. In an instant, an evil aura overwhelmed everyone on the melee. Ah! Kang's roar echoed throughout the sea. Kang's eyes couldn't help but shed tears of blood. Chakra wrapped around his body, which was bandaged red with blood, and turned into a package of bones. A red figure bigger than melee is suspended above the sea. Open black lens bracket Susanoo close black lens bracket. Dumb. What's this? Okay. So awesome. Self-harm. Are you crazy? Idiot fishing guy. What are you going to do? Fishing man. Why bother? It's so crazy to catch a fish. Everyone said something to each other, and Robin was also greatly shocked. I will fish even if I die. The words of bird poop coffee kept echoing in Nicole Robin's mind. What he said is true. At this time, Susanoo's arms were completed. Susanoo grabbed the fishing rod with his arm and started shaking wildly with Kang. Knock, click, click, the water surface is like a broken mirror. The giant thing on the bottom of the sea seemed to be about to be pulled away. However, it's still close. Roar. A terrifying roar sounded, and a figure got closer and closer to the water. Although the wrestling value is decreasing rapidly, the trend has been achieved. Kang and Susanoo support the pole with both hands. Kang smiled bitterly. If this trick doesn't succeed, I will probably have to lie down for several months. The bones creaked due to the displacement of the muscles. So, if you don't succeed, you will succeed. Drop the fish and catch 18. The right hand became swollen under the stimulation of the yang chakra, more than doubled in size, and looked like it was in danger of bursting at any time. If his physique hadn't been reached, he wouldn't have dared to use it in such a stimulating way. If Itachi knew that the giant power mode that he tinkered with when he was a child was now being carried forward in the hands of Kang, a fishing madman, he would probably be dumbfounded. In this special power mode, Kang's strength increases dramatically, but the destructive power to the body's muscles is also extremely high. So what? The shock of Gion made Kang deeply realize that the plot does not always follow the script. What if you interfere and cause the world line to deviate too much? How is he going to make up for those regrets? Therefore, he needs stronger power. One catch. Peas, I'm on fire. Kang turned around and kicked out, causing the reef to burst. The synchronization rate between his right hand and Susanoo was at max, and the fishing rod was swung back in front of everyone's astonished eyes. Open the heavenly gate. Boom. Kang, who used Gen Yidiao Kaishinman, immediately exploded with flowers on his chest and blood gushed out like a fountain. In the blood mist, the blue and red fishing rod released unprecedented power. Come out. Amid Kang's roar, a confused turtle head slowly emerged from the water, followed closely by the turtle shell and tail. A huge figure instantly appeared in the sky. Wow. The water splashed everywhere, and the big turtle floated in a daze, chewing pieces of the boat in its mouth. Kang spit out a mouthful of blood and collapsed to the ground, but he was not unconscious, and he felt that the wound was only minor. Because of this solo fishing trip, Kang gained a physique that was close to that of the two Laboons, a 40 inches forced, physical improvement, which made Kang feel that he had surpassed Usopp again. Itachi God complete body, 87%. As the water dropped, everyone on melee also saw clearly the true form of this sea beast. Everyone was shocked. They were shocked by Kang's explosive seed, and even more horrified by the super turtle that was more than 300 meters long in front of them. In comparison, melee is like a peanut in front of a turtle. Nami. What is that? Is it the mainland? Usopp. I don't know. I can't see anything. This must be a dream. Sanji. Such a big turtle. And it was caught. Is this so scientific? Idiot fisherman. He's causing trouble. Zoro jumped out to save people. Shalba just came back to his senses. Ah. Kang can't bear it anymore. Call the doctor quickly. Luffy yelled and threatened. Hey, turtle, spit out our intelligence. The big turtle continued to click, without paying any attention to the ants around it. And just when everyone was in a panic, a ship was approaching in the distance. Salvage, salvage. The voice spread to all directions. Chang. They also saw a large turtle being thrown out of the sea. Nami pointed at the idiot captain watching the show over there. Luffy, go negotiate with the other party and find a nearby permanent pointer. This is the leader of the Man-Ape Pirates, offering a reward of 23 million Baileys to salvage King Man-Ape. It's just that this thing is in the turtle's mouth now. I heard that your pointer is broken. This is the permanent pointer of Gaia Island. You should go first. It may be bloody here in a while. There is indeed something to Luffy's negotiation. Shocked, but that was not their goal. It narrowed its eyes, then there's nothing we can do. Why did it suddenly get dark? No matter how many people complained in their hearts, Luffy did have a great time chatting with each other. That person seems to be planning to salvage this sunken ship. Robin reminded. The orangutan wears headphones, his ears are so empty. Zoro couldn't help but complain. Which national language are these two guys talking about? The conversation between the two is not on the same channel, but they can actually continue talking to each other. Then, Nami couldn't stand it anymore and explained the cause and effect. Next, throw a pointer. What's going on? He shouted to the Mary. Yuan Shuai had just returned to the boat when suddenly the sky became dark. At this time, Luffy's eyes sparkled with gold. Wow, you are an ape. So handsome, so awesome. She felt that monkeys and upright apes must have something in common. Dumb. Amidst the sound of huge gongs and drums, a small boat with a monkey on its bow and decorated with tropical gardens everywhere drove over. The orangutan's face was full of embarrassment. A handsome ape. Oh no, just so. I look like an ape, so don't praise me like that. The empty-eared ape. How embarrassing is this, I am not so handsome yet. But, since you said so, then the title of handsome ape must belong to me. Uru Shuai. Are you Uru Shuai? Luffy tilted his head. Is there anyone called that? What? You said the boat was eaten by this turtle. Is the person standing on the bow of the boat an orangutan? Or an orangutan? Or an orangutan? It doesn't matter whether it's a human or not, it's an upright walking creature with excess body hair. Huh, this is my territory, what are you doing here? The ape asked loudly. After hearing this, Yuan Shuai was surprised, and Kang Er's illness was cured. No, I am about to cut off the chicken head to worship the master, as the third brother and the fourth brother. Chapter 161 Black Shadow, prepare for the banquet. Dark night, sudden night, Yuan Shuai shouted to his new friend on Meili. The sudden arrival of darkness is a sign of the appearance of monsters. Get out of here quickly. Yuan Shuai's crew, a bunch of guys who look like sperm monsters, said anxiously. No, stop talking, Captain. Danger. Look at the sky. The moment Yuan Shuai turned around, he was frightened. Similarly, everyone on the Meili was also frightened. The turtle that could be called an island turtle, which looked like it was chewing the boat happily, also disappeared completely. Everyone looked at the giant thing in front of them with horror on their faces. I saw 5 black shadows of giants with small wings appearing on the sea. So huge that it reflects the entire sky, standing tall on the sky and the earth, boundless. The turtle and the shadow are compared to each other, just like Meili and the turtle. If compared to Meili, it is even more like gravel. Chi Kong raised his head and looked at the sky with difficulty. Although he knew that this was just the principle of projection, he could not control his open mouth in this atmosphere. This is simply good news for people with macrophobia. Psychic art Mu. Mu was pulled out with a confused look on his face, and then he saw a scenery that he could never forget in his life. The black figure in the middle raised his spear and stabbed everyone. Mu, is it such a big scene when Laozi arrives? Monster awe. Everyone's souls were at risk, and their potential exploded in an instant. They turned the mast slewing pole and the roping rope. Even the dark crow panicked and used storm on the sail. Mu used all his strength to pull the Meili and flew away. On the calm sea, there are seagulls flying in the sky. Quack. This relaxing scene is as if the astonishing scene just now never happened. Hufufu. A sharp gasp. Mu wiped his sweat and said, Lao Niu will never come again next time. On the Meili, everyone collapsed to the ground from exhaustion and were still frightened by what happened just now. Everyone complained, and even Robin joined in, which was rare. At this time, Chi Kong stretched out his trembling arm to indicate that there was a patient here. Doctor. Chi Kong needs a doctor. Chopper ran around the ship. Usopp slapped Chopper on the back of the head. Aren't you a doctor? At this moment, Joy seems to have returned. Shortly after, Nami carefully looked at the permanent pointer in his hand. Gaia Island. There should be a town there, right? Luffy came over with a box of takoyaki at this time. Gaia, are we going there? At this time, Usopp shouted. No. Luffy. Under Usopp's explanation, Luffy suddenly realized that if he went to Gaia Island, he wouldn't be able to go to Sky Island. Nami. Then do you know how to get to Sky Island now? Luffy shook his head. I don't know. Nami. So, the best way is to ask someone else. Luffy tilted his head. Then let me ask Chi Kong. At this time, Robin stopped Luffy who was going to the infirmary to cause trouble. Miss Navigator means to go to Gaia Island to find information. Don't worry, Captain, after arriving at Gaia Island, the records will not be stored immediately on the next island. You can leave before the records are full. Luffy looked at Nami for a definite answer, but Nami said feebly, it's possible. So, Luffy raised his hand in agreement and ordered, okay. Then go to Gaia Island to find information. Also, the party is about to begin. Welcome Nico Robin to join us, and Chi Kong wakes up. When he heard that there was a banquet, Mu danced and licked the cow's mouth. Luffy turned his head and looked at the bow of the ship with a look of disgust on his face. Mu, can you go back? Boom. Hey, Mu, come here. Is there a letter from Nokigao? Mu spit out a ball of ruminant and dived into the water. It chooses to do its part for the delicious food made by Sanji. Sanji sad face, 3, heart. Nami-chan, Robin-chan. This is your special ladies version, an unprecedented takoyaki. A 3-square-meter medical office. A fool pushed open the door and entered. Hey, Chi Kong. Hurry up and summon some clones to help us decorate the banquet venue together. Luffy came in and yelled at Chi Kong. Bang. A clone appeared and fell to the ground instantly. Chi Kong said feebly, No. I'm sorry. The original body can't do it. The same goes for the clone. It is impossible to work, you can only act stupid. Luffy's face was full of disbelief. Why do I always feel like you were lazy? I don't care. With that said, Luffy grabbed Kong. Don't disturb my patient. Chopper transformed into a strong man like an old hen guarding his children, and punched Luffy out. I finally have a patient, but you still can't let me treat him more. Kong looked at his hair that was gradually falling out, feeling helpless. Dr. Chauba, don't you have a more effective hair tonic? Is it really reasonable for my hair to fall out like this? As soon as these words came out, Chow Huzi danced because he was praised as doctor, and at the same time showed a serious expression. The doctor's prescription is, first use 5 bottles of hair growth lotion at one time. Kong stretched out his hand. Hair tonic, just hair tonic. I'm sorry, Kong, I don't have hair tonic here. I need to go to the store to buy it. This is what Nami and I agreed on. Kong's sad face D. At this time, Chopper seemed to be immersed in some kind of fantasy, and he said to himself. As long as I make 20 more bottles of hair tonic, Nami promised to give me a Straw Hat cosplay coupon. And Nami was already ready, with gentleness on her face and Bailey in her eyes. Nami narrowed his eyes. I will maintain the knife for you. The labor cost of maintenance plus knife oil is 500,000 belly in total. Kong flew 7 or 8 meters in a row and returned to his original form with a bruised nose and a swollen face. Boom. Then, Nami changed the topic and looked like a money-mad person, but if you are willing to sell it, I will pay you 5 million belly. Kong was speechless. It seemed that he had no hope of doing it again. That way, I can be the righteous Chopper Superman. I want Usopp, Sanji, and Zoro to all play villains. Kong stood up tremblingly and took out 200,000 belly. Whoosh, and ran away quickly. Until Sanji appeared holding a tray, and his jealously twisted face caught Kang's eyes. Kong had already promised a banquet, and he just fulfilled his promise. ... With this terrifying aura, who else could it be if it wasn't Nami who was chasing after her? TCH. Kong said disdainfully. Luffy and Usopp, who were setting up the venue, immediately jumped to their feet. Kong. You are really lazy. I have collected all the hair growth lotion in the store. Also, Mr. Chi will pay for your consumption here today. However, a terrifying shadow enveloped the 3 of them. The 2 who wanted to take action turned around and saw the person coming. Die. Damn you fisherman. Sanji flew up and kicked him, showing no mercy at all. Stop, Luffy. Listen to my quibbles. Kong waved his hands repeatedly. Chopper, do you want some marshmallows? Before Kong could say anything, Nami picked up Chopper and rubbed against his chest. PFF'd. However, Nami is awesome. Capitalists shed tears when they read it. Gudong. Zoro glanced at Kong who fell into the water, and continued to swing the knife as if nothing had happened. Next time I must get more treasures. To please Miss Nami, Sanji secretly made up his mind. What is this? You gave too much. However, it will not be refunded. So, he said. Nami, where is my sword? But the good times didn't last long. Nami felt the warmth in her chest, and Nami's veins popped out. Kang's eyes rolled around, and he took a sneak look at Chopper who was making the potion. He left a shadow clone behind, transformed into Chopper, and ran towards the orange of Kokoyashi. Suddenly the boss of Kokoyashi's oranges came, and Kong lost himself in Nami's husband. Nami, I want some bottles of hair tonic. 100,000 Baileys. Bring it, otherwise, your loot will belong to me. Kong took out the cash box from his crotch and threw it domineeringly. Kong's sad face ODO. Kang's nose was bleeding. What a wonderful feeling. Chapter 162 Jinbaluo, it's a banquet. Kong climbed onto Melee again, came to Zoro's side with the trophy, and played with Jinpailao wantonly. Zoro pretended to be nonchalant, but his eyes peeked over. The Jinpailao sword is slender, about 3 feet long, and exudes a pleasant aroma, elegant and majestic. Its scabbard is made of dark precious wood, covered with fine brocade and edged with gold filigree. The handle of the knife fits Kang's feel very well, and there is no problem holding it for a long time. The handle is wrapped with a handle rope of soft unknown material, and the tandem is equipped with finely carved ivory. The whole thing gives people a calm luxury. If you look at it this way, Gion's taste is still very strong. Clang. When the blade of the blade was unsheathed, a cold light came into view. The blade was about 2 inches wide, smooth and flawless, glowing with a cold silver light. The surrounding area was engraved with a dragon or crocodile pattern of blood grooves, which made people involuntarily wonder. Ah. The blade is so sharp that it can break gold and stone with ease. The lazy Zoro's pupils shrank suddenly, and he thought to himself, what a great sword. Even better than Wado Ikimonji. Then, in Zoro's shock, Kong made the II drawing style. It has a distinct feeling, just like a swordsman. Sakura falls. Ding. A-hole. What do you want to do, fisherman? This is obviously my II lion song. Zoro said angrily. However, the response to him was, Kyoka Suigetsu. Chakra is attached to the soles of Kang's feet. When the teleportation is activated, he is like a clone, traveling around Zoro, up and down, left and right. Zoro was sure that this was not a clone technique, but a visual afterimage that was so fast that his eyes were underexposed. Ding ding ding. Zoro was dazzled, and it was difficult to hold the three swords in his hands. He thought to himself, is this the speed of a ninja? Bang bang bang. Continuous explosions came in the air. Suddenly, Kang put his sword into its sheath and shouted, Nirvana, cut off thoughts with one sword. Kang made a flying slash, which startled Zoro. Result. Ding. Wow. This shot was clearly a half-moon-shaped water blade. Your fancy swordsmanship is not called swordsmanship at all. It's all the shadow of others. You can't surpass that person. Zoro complained. Of course Kang has his own swordsmanship, but that kind of swordsmanship is not for use by his partners. But what Zoro said is indeed correct. Sharingan is just a copy of Gion's swordsmanship movements and power techniques, but it has its own form. The core thing, momentum, and the like cannot be learned at all. Unless he can possess Gion's physique, and continue to repeat these actions until he has his own understanding of swordsmanship, it will be possible to reach and surpass Gion's level. However, it is enough to have your own killing skills. As for learning the sword skills of this world, if you have that time, you might as well go fishing and develop new ninjutsu while fishing. However, Kang said harshly, this is a move I learned secretly. You are envious and jealous. Zoro looked at Kang with a crooked face. Murderous, why is the name of this move so serious? Kang. It's a party. Luffy shouted happily. Kang sheathed the knife and quickly changed the subject. Let's go. Suo da, I can't give you this knife, I can only buy you a drink. Arrogant Zoro. TCH. I don't need it at all. The two returned to the lower level. At this time, there was a large, Welcome Robin, banner in the center of the deck, as well as Robin's hand-drawn drawings. This abstract art, it goes without saying whose hand it came from, but it is full of sincerity. Seeing the dark-faced Nicole Robin next to her but unable to get angry, Kang directly punched the floor. Sure enough, sincerity is the only surefire way. After Robin reluctantly walked through the wreath made by Nami, Usopp took out a bunch of fireworks. Okay, Zoro, Kang, one gift for each person. Bang bang bang. Among the fireworks prepared by our little inventor Usopp, in addition to confetti and fireworks, there are also choppers, welcome pills, actually bought candies. Of course there are some things in it that he finds very funny, such as, Usopp, what's in here? Fake spiders exploded in the air. Ha ha ha, Nami has been tricked. Ha ha ha, Nami's frightened eyes made Sanji laugh and burst into tears. So, fireworks burst out from Usopp's head. Finally, our Sanji made a love cake with his hands without a mold, and there were many figures of himself and Robin on it. Sanji was standing aside wearing a suit and holding flowers. This atmosphere, I don't know what kind of cake it is, it's just short of a wedding march. Robin-chan, this is the Until Death cream coffee cake carefully prepared for you. Symbolizes our dazzling flowers. Oh, being hugged tightly by Miss Robin's arms. Everyone sad-faced. Chopper solemnly took out a bottle of medicine and poured it in. This was Sanji's new medicine. Everyone else was participating, but Angler and Zoro were a little embarrassed. Nicole Robin looked at Zoro and Kang meaningfully, meaning, everyone has it, what about yours? Kang flipped his hair and took the lead. I'm funding all the drinks and snacks for this banquet. And Zoro is blushing and thick-necked, what about him? You can't perform a sword dance, right? Zoro, don't want to be too good at it. Finally, he choked out a sentence. I'll have 2 more drinks with you later, and cut the meat into pieces. Slicing meat is not considered a sword dance. Zoro is talking about Straw Hat Barbecue. This time there is an additional process called Dr. Chopper's medical beating, after Usopp's sauce star. It softens the texture of the meat and makes the barbecue more flavorful, which makes the skewers in the final dish bitter. As the Straw Hat Barbecue was launched, everyone's eyes were filled with excitement. Luffy was already in position. Meat eating contest. Meat eating contest. No moo. Moo. Translator Chuba. I caught the big fish. Usopp opened his mouth to his younger brother, Chopper. In fact, the meat eating contest is a traditional program for pirates. It is a reserved event for all pirates to welcome new partners. It was invented by Captain Usopp. Quote. Chopper looked shocked. Really? Usopp is so awesome. No wonder there is barbecue every time. Kang raised his glass to the cold Robin. How is it? Miss, are you happy? Nicole Robin ignored the bird poop coffee. She stood on the deck of the Golden Mary, surrounded by the enthusiasm and laughter of the members of the Straw Hat Pirates. This welcoming ceremony specially prepared for her made her heart surge with complicated emotions. Although she was still an enemy, she somehow became a crew member of the Straw Hat crew. Fortune plays tricks on people. Robin, do you want to dance with your nostrils? Psi Omega Katakana middle dot, Psi left pointing arrow chop. She looked around, and everyone had a sincere smile on their face, but Robin could not suppress a trace of unnoticeable uneasiness and embarrassment in her heart. Hurry up, Robin, help us become Chopper. As an archaeologist who has been wandering for a long time and is used to being alone, the sudden sense of warmth and belonging made her feel both strange and precious. Come on, Robin-chan, your love barbecue. *Z, Sanji. All of these are like rays of light, penetrating the haze in Robin's heart for a long time, but while enjoying this light, she unconsciously wants to shrink back, fearing that this beauty is like many things in the past. All the same, it will eventually become a short-lived bubble. Mimimi left pointing arrow Zoro. Come on, drink. Bad woman. Why does the wine taste so weird today? She knows that the secrets and past she carries are a heavy burden. Beta Nabla. Chuan left pointing arrow Nami. Sister Robin, today is a treat from the fisherman, please drink more. But seeing the unreserved acceptance and trust of these fools, the uneasiness gradually melted away with warmth. She stroked her slightly hot cheek, and at this moment she seemed to want to tell herself. Maybe it's time to put down your guard and spend some time happily with your fellow idiots. Moreover, she wanted to see how her dream could be realized. Robin looked at the bird poop coffee, it was this guy. Did you put your fishing rod in the wine barrel just now? Asterisk degree ye, mu_mu, left pointing arrow Robin. 6 rounds of flowers bloom. Ah, Chi Kang's wound opened again. Chapter 163 Dark Crow injured, Gaia Island. On the blue sea, the laughter on board the Melee floats in the wind. In the sky, flocks of birds were attracted by the attractive scent emanating from the ship. Dumb. The Dark Crow took off without hesitation. This was all a walking experience package, and bullying the weak was its favorite. At this moment, Usopp in the form of Horn suddenly looked towards the sky. The seagulls in the sky seemed to be subject to some kind of force majeure and kept falling. Impossible. How could it be possible? Suddenly Usopp shouted and called urgently, Dark Crow, come back quickly. Usopp's voice instantly attracted the attention of others, and the sound of the banquet stopped abruptly. Dumb. The Dark Crow suddenly whined helplessly and fell uncontrollably towards the sea, its black feathers scattering in the sky. Dark Crow. Gaia Island, Magic Valley Town. Gaia Island is a spring island, and the breath of spring permeates this noisy and violent seaside town. At this time, on the roof of the town, a man was holding a long sniper. He was wearing a strange hat, a single lens on his right eye, a long face, and a black cloak. The person who was the initiator of shooting down the Dark Crow was Van Oka, the captain of the third ship of the Blackbeard Pirates, the sniper of the Blackbeard Pirates, and who was born in the East China Sea. His favorite gun, Chinlu, has some incredible properties. It was actually avoided. Crows on the sea are so rare. That's your fate too, it's destined by God. Everything is fate. Why do I always feel like I'm being targeted by fate? Aboard the Mary, what happened to Dark Crow? Nami asked anxiously. Usopp's face was solemn and his tone was heavy. If Dark Crow was shot by a gun, then the sniper's vision, gun performance and technology are all top-notch. It's hard for me to imagine this situation. At this time, Chopper was checking his injuries. He took out a bullet and said in shock, really? He was shot. Even if Chopper doesn't believe it anymore, he has to admit it when faced with irrefutable evidence. Impossible. There was no gunfire at all. Zoro was full of doubts. Van Oka. Kong clenched his fists, Sharingan bloomed, and looked towards the direction Melee was heading, but he could not see any trace of the island. This scene caused fine beads of sweat to appear on Kang's forehead. A sniper capable of ultra-long-range shooting is a more dangerous person to the current Straw Hats than Blackbeard himself. This kind of opponent cannot let down its guard at any time. Noticing the change in Kang's face, Nami was the first to ask, because Kang's current expression clearly indicated that he had met a strong enemy. What's wrong, Kang? What did you think of? Kang shook his head, indicating that he was fine. He didn't want others to know about the Blackbeard pirates. The guy with red hair had to run over to remind Whitebeard, Blackbeard, martial teach. It has thick blood, high defense, and the fruit's ability can absorb all damage, which is equivalent to bringing back blood and preventing damage. Kang wanted to know what would happen if Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu faced Blackbeard. But the problem comes again, before there is Eternal Mangekyo, Sharingan, Shadow Clone cannot use any of the abilities that come with Mangekyo. If you think about it, you can only use the body, which is very ed. Kang shook off his thoughts. Anyway, the Black group and the Straw Hat group didn't know each other yet. Of course, the premise is that Blackbeard doesn't let Luffy know about Luffy's fruit ability, and he doesn't let Luffy know that this is the person who will kill his brother in the future. Otherwise, if a fight breaks out in Demon Valley Town, the other non-combat capabilities of the Straw Hats will be at risk. Fan Oka, I will bear this grudge. Don't let me find a chance. If I can't kill Blackbeard, I can't deal with you. At this time, Dr. Chauba's voice came. Okay, luckily it's just a superficial wound. The power of the bullet is already very weak here. Dr. Dark Crow's diagnosis is, strenuous activities are not allowed for the time being, and you need to rest for a few days. Dumb. What's the difference between me like this and a salted fish? I really feel sorry for my Dark Crow. Damn it, who did it? Woo-woo. Nami held Murkrow gently against her chest, full of compassion. Kang's mouth twitched. Who is the master of Dark Crow? Dark Crow was safe and sound, and everyone continued to play music and dance heartlessly. Soon after, the outline of Gaia Island appeared in everyone's sight. Okay, Mu, go back, help me bring good things to Nakigao and Uncle Aegean. Mu released his channeling and returned to Cocoa West Village. Luffy, Gaia Island has arrived, do you still want to go to Sky Island? Nami actually reminded Luffy to go to the island. This unscientific. After hearing this, Luffy picked up his wine glass, sat on the bow of the ship, and announced passionately. Pull the boat over. Head to the resort, Melly. So, Melee headed towards the seaside port of Magic Valley Town. There are pirate ships of various flags parked there, and it looks like a lawless place that is not under the jurisdiction of the government and full of violence. Click. The Merly is moored at the pier. How could a pirate ship dare to park in the harbor openly? Killing people. A panicked cry suddenly came from afar. When Usopp, Chopper, and Nami heard this, they were so frightened that they hugged each other and cried. Isn't it a resort? What kind of small town is this? I have a disease that will kill me if I go to the island. I have to stay on the ship and continue the party. Usopp relapsed. Ah, Usopp, I don't know how to cure this disease. I'm so useless. The timid Usopp and the fearful Chopper hugged each other and cried, expressing their determination to guard the ship. Nami clapped her hands, assigning money and tasks was what she, the logistics minister, had to do. Chopper, Usopp, Dark Crow, and one more shadow clone are responsible for guarding the ship. Everyone else goes to collect intelligence. Sanji and Sister Robin, your additional task is to buy the supplies that Melee needs. At this time, Robin raised his hand and asked, isn't it the job of a ninja to collect intelligence? Kang also wants to go to Gaia Island to see Blackbeard's cadres, so he won't provide information. After listening to Robin's words, Nami nodded her little hand and said in a voice like a mosquito, Kang wants to help me carry something. It turned out to be so, everyone suddenly realized. No wonder this guy wants to board the ship and the store supplies are not enough to squander. What a clear distinction between public and private, what a Nami. For the sake of money, this guy can abandon everything, including fear. Luffy, Zoro, you don't have anything else to do, just keep a low profile for me, and come back as soon as you're done asking for information. What Nami said, despite the idiot captain nodding his head, does Luffy really know what it means to be low-key? There was also this green algae head who kept looking at the ground. Was he listening? After a while, everyone was gone. Nami seemed to realize something and changed his words, forget it. The four of us will act together. Remember, 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 our goal is to collect intelligence. Then shop. Low-key, 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 Nami repeated tirelessly. Chapter 164 First Encounter with the Blackbeard Pirates. Before entering the town, Kang took a deep breath of the air that was mixed with the smell of iron blood, gunpowder and beer. The smell was very uncomfortable. Wang Lufei, our idiot captain, was solemnly swearing to the sky, I swear, I will never fight in this town. Nami, as the recognized logistics director and disciplinary committee member on the ship, nodded with satisfaction, with a majestic tone that could not be refuted. Great. Same goes for Zoro and Kang. Did you hear that? Times 3. The three of them spoke in unison, and the voice sounded like dried kelp, soft and soft. When Nami heard this, he frowned. Ying is so listless, if you dare to cause trouble. Then don't even want to go to Sky Island. Everyone was silent for a while. Okay, shipmaster, you have the final say. Demon Valley Town is a place where even the road signs need to be marked with battle plaster. Because this is a town that developed based on pirates, the daily life here is. What are you looking at? What do you think of you? Take another look and try. Eyes fall in love with fists, you will die if you try. This kind of fighting and fighting over disagreements is a daily routine. After all, this is a small town full of violence. For example, this strong man is over 8 feet tall and has an 8-foot waist. With long purple hair, a wrestler's mask on his head, and a champion logo on his belt, he looks like a walking gym. You guys who are vulnerable, have you really exercised properly? Ha 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 ha. Of course Kang knew this man, he was Giza's Badgers, the future first team captain of the Blackbeard Pirates. He is also the helmsman of the pirate group, nicknamed Champion. A master who can skillfully use two-color hockey and survive even one punch from Garp's anger. Nami's heart couldn't stand this bloody and brutal scene, and she almost jumped on Kang. What's going on in this town? However, Luffy and Zoro didn't seem surprised. After all, their daily routine is to use fists to communicate feelings. It's the fighting champion. How many people has this suffered? Champion. Luffy and Zoro's ears instantly turned into radars, spinning to lock on Badgers. Kang's mouth twitched, this damn desire to win. So, our shark tooth pepper immediately went online. Why do you care so much about that word? Don't cause trouble for me. In the end, Nami punched each of them and dragged them away. After walking a few steps, we encountered another situation, and it was also a black group. Ahem. A dying man lying on the ground blocked the road, vomiting blood. He was wearing an ominous black feathered coat and a black round hat. Under his gray hair was a terminally ill face. Poison Q, the future captain and ship's doctor of the 9th ship of the Blackbeard Pirates, nicknamed Shinigami, has Paramesha, Sickness Fruit, ability, and is one of the first 4 people to follow Blackbeard. As a ship's doctor, he always looked like he was terminally ill and dying, riding a horse named Zhuangzhuang, who was also terminally ill. Little brothers, please, help me up quickly, okay. Zoro looked at this scene, with 3 black lines on his forehead, and complained, you are too lazy to get up. This sickly appearance can deceive others, but it cannot deceive Zoro, who has awakened the sensing type. But he sensed no malice. Kang looked at this scene coldly. Poison Q looks like this, and he even owes an Oscar a statuette. Seriously ill person. Slow down. It's just that Luffy, a kid born with weak tendencies, almost gave Kang a heart attack because of his helpful behavior. Ahem, I'm sorry, I was born weak and sickly. Poison Q said while coughing, and finally climbed onto Zhuang's back. Zhuang was not to be outdone, and coughed up a mouthful of old blood in agreement with his master. The scene was very touching. Hey, your horse is vomiting blood. Even horses are so weak. Q suddenly handed over a basket of apples and said with a sickly look, a little thought, have one. She looks like the poison queen who deceived Snow White. Who would eat it? Of course, it is impossible for everyone to accept such inexplicable things. But Luffy's eyes have been fixed on apples, which is a unique desire for food. Apple, you are such a good person. Luffy was about to reach out, but this time Chi Kong took Luffy's hand first. No, Luffy, Chi Kong wanted to say, are you an idiot? Didn't you see the situation in the town? Although he had read the script, he didn't dare let Luffy bet on the apple. He's fine. If he wins the exploding apple, he'll be shattered into pieces with just one bite. Nami suddenly punched him all by himself. Are you an idiot? Wait, why do I have to be beaten too? Chi Kong covered his head and was speechless. Nami said harshly. Next. You don't listen to me. All pocket money will be confiscated. Boom, 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 boom. Nami pinched Luffy's neck and said, Luffy, spit it out. Spit out the apple you just ate. The moment he drew his sword, Zoro suddenly had an intuition that the person opposite him was dangerous. Just now, a strange person gave them an apple, and after they ate it, all 5 of them exploded. These words made Zoro resist. Wado Yamanji. Brother, you are so lucky, you only have one real apple. Chi Kong just wanted to get angry, but, what about you, Luffy? The meat is not confiscated either. What are you doing, Chi Kong? This is just a thought. Luffy had already taken a bite of the apple happily. Clang. Q slapped his horse on the back and left gracefully. The Wado Ikimonji in Zoro's hand suddenly came out of its sheath, and he looked at the opponent with murderous intent. What happened? Ouch. I've already swallowed it. I see. No wonder Chi Kong is so cautious. Why didn't he tell him earlier if he had information? Shoo. At this time, a pair of pale hands suddenly grabbed Chi Kong, with an inexplicable smile on his face. You seem to be hostile to me, do we know each other? Chi Kong, who was caught by Poison Q, his pupils shrank in an instant, his perception was so strong, it turns out that Blackbeard's men don't keep idle people. When he heard, meat, Luffy begged, no, Nami. As a result, Nami and Zoro's eyes became visibly frightened. Click, ahem, don't worry, the man lying on the horse just showed a charming smile and said calmly. Chi Kong turned around and took a look. At this moment, there was a series of explosions nearby, mixed with random exclamations. A-hole, what do you mean? Young people, if you are too angry, you will get sick easily. Kaido said with a meaningful poisonous cue. When he saw the arm being pulled, he quickly covered it with chakra. After taking his hand, he said angrily, don't touch lousy. Get away. Chapter 165 Bellamy Pirates. Secure Asset Portal, your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. This place is not noisy, it is simply too quiet. The 4 of them walked and came to a quiet place. Nami sighed. I didn't expect that in such a smoky town, there would be such a paradise, building a villa on the sea. Aren't these guys afraid of being affected by pirates? Chi Kong sneered at these words. Although this place is chaotic, the pirates are lavish and spend money like water, so there are many civilians who come to make a living. Almost everyone here is a Nami, and as long as the money is there, nothing can stop them. Of course, the most important reason that attracts them is that the pirates here have a well-established rule and will not attack civilians, that is, service personnel. After all, wouldn't it be disappointing if pirates had money but no one to take care of them? Ah, guests, why did you just come in so casually? This makes me very embarrassed. Suddenly Luffy turned his head and looked at Ah-san who was speaking. This guy's head was swinging like a rattle. We Tropical Hotel have been booked by Uncle Bellamy and his group. If Uncle Bellamy finds out, it will be a disaster. Please leave the 3 of you immediately, okay? It seems that this weirdo should be the owner of this hotel. It's just like this. Nami, come in and see what's the deal. Hey, who is Bellamy? Do you know? Luffy looked at the ninja who was collecting information. Chi Kong casually Kaido, the guy who got super ghosted by one punch. Bin, what the hell is this? Luffy looked confused. Hey, what's wrong? At this time, a voice came into the boss's ears. Whatever the boss is afraid of. Holding a girl in my arms and holding a knife, I am the most Y among pirates. Bailey's deputy, the pirate with a bounty of 38 million, big sword, Saki's, appears. Saki's hugged a voluptuous woman whose figure and appearance were not inferior to Michita's, and began to mock Layman. What's going on with these dirty ghosts? Uncle Sarkis, they are. The boss began to speak incoherently, not knowing how to speak. The woman next to Saki's took advantage of her momentum and cursed with disgust. Stop talking nonsense and kick them out quickly. Do you know how much money the uncles spent here? While the boss was trembling, the 2 came to Luffy and spoke condescendingly. Hey, little bug, get out of here. Luffy was silent for a second, then turned to Nami and asked, can I punch this guy away? In exchange, Nami raised his fist. When Saki's heard what Luffy said, he smiled instead of getting angry. You kid is so funny, you actually said you want to beat me away. But, seeing how poor you are, let's go buy some clothes. Saki's threw out some pele and humiliated a few guys. Zoro and Nami's faces instantly fell. Let's go. It's really annoying. Nami pulled Luffy and left. She vowed to buy some high-end goods for the store when she got back. Even if they were sold at a discount, she would make them look more handsome. Zoro hesitated and followed, looked back at the fishing man and motioned for him to leave quickly. And Sarkis's mocking voice came. Ha 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 ha, don't you want it? Ha 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 ha, what a bunch of bumpkins. Chi Kong smiled. How about giving this girl to me too? I want it. Sakis looked at Chi Kong who did not leave and was furious. Chi Kong said innocently. What's wrong? Don't you agree? You were thinking about it, I can give you 100,000. Sakis was stunned, angry at this boy's naive appearance. Is it him, big sword, that Sakis can't hold the knife? Chi Kong waited quietly for Sakis' answer and cast his eyes on the sofa in the villa. He was here anyway, he had already understood the local customs and seen everything he needed to see, and he would not go to the beer hall until he was beaten. The speech isn't that eloquent either. So that's it, replenish your supplies, go back to the ship, have a party, and go to Sky Island. Chi Kong, what are you going to do? Nami walked over with a dark face and raised fists. Chi Kong didn't panic and stretched out his hand. Make a price. Nami. Nami's footsteps paused, and he understood the meaning, as if he was struggling. 500,000. No, 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 at least 10 million Baileys. I will consider myself blind. Okay, I'll get it and I'll give it to you later. Chi Kong never forced anything that could be solved with money. At this time, behind Chi Kong, Luffy and Zoro slapped their heads. Why do they feel that they are not as smart as Chi Kong? The two clenched their fists with evil smiles on their faces. At this time, the Bellamy pirates had not yet realized the seriousness of the matter. On the sofa by the beach in the villa. These guys still want to challenge the Bellamy pirates. Do you want me to teach you how to punch? Ha ha ha, Rebus, show their bounty to Sakis. It really made me laugh to death. The one who said this was none other than Bellamy, the captain of the Bellamy pirates wearing the captain's cloak, with a bounty of 55 million Baileys. Those with the ability of the spring fruit, Spring Man, can turn any part of the body into a spring, and the whole body can bounce back and forth like a spring. Seeing this, Bellamy yelled angrily. You are looking for death. Mew, Lay, I'm a ship's doctor, I don't have a boyfriend. The beauty spat out words blankly, as if her mind and body were out of control. 2 knives. Then Mew Lay, can you tell me where your treasure is? Chi Kang's voice was very gentle as a pervert. At this time, a woman on the sofa also laughed and said, compared with you and Bellamy, they are too far behind. They are just a pile of garbage. Hey, Shikima, your opponent is me. He turned slightly and avoided Levis's shooting. Zoro said coolly. A machete is also a knife, so I'll chop you down reluctantly. The mole at the corner of the woman's eye and the riding boots with a cross on the foot are exactly the type that Chi Kong likes. How about sitting quietly and waiting for the captain's battle to end? ... Hey, your opponent is me. Bellamy was kicked away, smashed into the wall of the room, and rolled backwards. Brush, brush. Saki's turned to look inside the room and suddenly laughed. This straw hat captain is actually worth 28 million, ha ha ha. The corners of Chi Kang's mouth raised, revealing a disdainful smile. Chi Kong looked at the others coldly and said angrily. Ah, came the painful cry. Rebus is a man wearing a hood and no eyebrows. The rest of the Bellamy pirates looked at what was happening in front of them in surprise. They originally thought these guys were just ordinary pirates, but they didn't expect them to be so powerful. Chi Kong suddenly appeared next to the woman. He hugged her and pressed her forehead to tease her. What's your name? Do you have a boyfriend? Then, he reached out and grabbed Rebus's wrist and twisted it hard. There was a click, and Rebus, the gunner's wrist, was directly dislocated. Is that all you have? Chi Kong mocked. He jumped up, his legs turning into springs, and prepared to attack. How did this person appear? Does he have devil fruit powers? We are just trash after all. Boy, you're looking for death. You've offended someone you shouldn't have offended. The hooded man fired several shots at Chi Kang's chest. Then, with a kick, Rebus overturned a pile of debris, and the screams stopped abruptly. Boom. Bellamy. Sakis had the scimitar in his hand and wanted to help. Clang. However, the moment Bellamy took off, Luffy quickly took action, and the rubber man kicked him in the stomach. Zoro didn't even bother to shout out the name of the move, Shikima, vomited blood and rolled his eyes. He stood up, held up Luffy's bounty and mocked. Sakis, Lily, you are actually underestimated by a little pirate with a bounty of less than 30 million. Ha ha. Regarding the sudden appearance of Chi Kong, everyone was on tenterhooks. Chapter 166 Bellamy and Chi Kong were beaten. I touched my sister's hair as soon as I touched it. I touched it left and right, and my sister's hair was shiny and fresh. Chi Kong secretly huddled in the corner, taking advantage of Nami's blindness to move against Muley. Of course, readers, don't get me wrong. He was afraid that the young lady was hiding her breasts. After all, she was a leader of a pirate group, so she was right to be careful. As for the battle outside, poor Bellamy was beaten so hard that he doubted his life, and he didn't doubt himself either. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Bellamy spun and jumped in the air, using the wall to complete the compression of the spring again and again, and the speed became faster and faster. The development direction of this spring fruit makes dogs shake their heads when they see it. If it doesn't work, we can just learn from rubber. I can deal with you right away. I can deal with you right now. You are just a little pirate worth 28 million. A waste of a new era. Whoosh whoosh. Bellamy disappeared. This was because the gangster's eyes couldn't keep up with Bellamy's speed. At this moment, the other members of the Bellamy pirates saw that the captain was about to use his strongest attack, and they also cheered and said, "Someone. Kill him, Bellamy. Someone. Beat him. You are Captain Bellamy." The voice of the demon Nami intervened. "What were you doing just now? What did you sing? Sing it again for me." Sakong idiot, had a bruised nose and a swollen face. "No. Hot girl, I'm getting vegetarian food, I'm doing other things." Bellamy uses the fruit's ability to convert a large amount of elastic potential energy into kinetic energy. When the kinetic energy reaches the limit, it is the moment when the attack is most powerful. That's it now. At this moment, Bellamy rushed towards Luffy at extremely high speed. This was his strongest attack, Spring Jumper. "It took me so long to save up. Farewell, Straw Hat." Kong flew backwards with a bruised nose and face. In the air, he saw Bellamy rushing towards Luffy and shook his head in his heart. "That's it. Haha, what a fart." After playing for so long, he chose to hit him head on, and at this speed, it was worse than shaving, not to mention Luffy's domineering aura. "Farewell," is very true. Have a good journey and may there be no spring fruits in heaven. The speed is too slow. Even the crocodile's sand blade is faster than you are so far behind. Before he finished speaking, Luffy waved his arm resolutely, hitting Bellamy in the face, leaving a fist mark on Bellamy's right face. Blood splashed out of Bellamy's mouth, and with a bang, the floor cracked. The world is quiet. Only an angry voice echoed. "You like that piece of meat, don't you? I'll give you a piece of it." The reason why Nami is angry is that even if you and I are in love, Kong actually uses his ability to control others. At this time, Luffy exhaled, like a man who had been thirsty for several days in the desert and suddenly drank water. He said with a relaxed look, "It feels good, I've been holding it in for a long time." Zoro saw this scene and regretted cutting it too fast. So, he stared at the others with unkind eyes. Boom. A look of embarrassment crossed Luffy and Zoro. Luffy and Zoro were shocked. They were still fighting. "Save me, Luffy. I'll give you information about Sky Island." "Zoro, I can lend you my knife. Save me." Kang's words are very tempting, but... "Boss, serve the wine, serve the meat." Zoro and Luffy raised their hands at the same time, looking at their noses and hearts, not even daring to fart. Are you kidding? Nami is invincible in this state. Kong was hit hard on the chest, and his body was involuntarily blasted towards everyone in the Bellamy Pirates. Then, in the sound of swallowing saliva from everyone in the Bellamy Pirates, Kong covered his head for a while and his chest for a while. Next to him, a shark pepper kept punching and kicking him. What did that person say? Empty island, right? Everyone looked at each other, wanting to laugh but not daring to laugh. Nami looked up at Bellamy's crowd. "What are you looking at?" The younger brother of the Bellamy Pirates fell silent for an instant. It turns out that the weakest little fairy is the most powerful one. "Give me all your treasures." "Yes, big sister." After a while of searching, as the speaker, Eddie, the navigator of the Bellamy Pirates, spoke carefully. "This beautiful lady, here is all the treasure of our pirate group. Do you think we can? It's worth 50 million Baileys. It's made. It's made." Nami's eyes were filled with Baileys, and she had already forgotten about it. How long has it been? Nami almost forgot. Their pirate group finally did what pirates should do again, eat black and white. Kong held the pig's head and reminded, "Their reward is quite a lot. Nami, don't waste it. You can't be the only one injured. Who asked you to speak? You guys who don't respect women, you will get retribution." Nami punched and kicked Kong again. Luffy and Zoro, one looks at the sky and the other looks at the ground. As the ship's doctor, Muley wanted to help with the treatment, and by the way, she wanted to give her some face. If it was this handsome guy, she would be willing, but when the words came to her mouth, she swallowed them. Nami loosened his fist and stopped in front of everyone's horrified eyes. Finally stopped. After a burst of smoke and dust, everyone suddenly discovered that Kong had fainted. Nami is so scary. Port, Luffy, Zoro, Nami. Hey, what's wrong with Kong? Several people returned to the Mary, and when Usopp saw Luffy and Zoro, it was like seeing exhausted eyelashes. And Nami, carrying Kong on her back and holding a suitcase in her hand, didn't feel tired at all. Shadow Clone looked at Nami warily, always feeling that the injuries on his body came from this woman. Chopper, look at this idiot. Nami felt that she just hit her as usual, just 100 million times more. Why did you faint? Chopper's eyes were shining with an inexplicable light, and he said excitedly, "Did Kong have a new disease?" Everyone. As defined as D is defined as winking face. Chopper listened to Kang's pig head for a while, and we didn't know why we had to listen to it. We just heard Chopper's face solemn. The doctor's diagnosis is facial soft tissue contusion, chest bruises and swelling. Crowd. This is obvious, right? Did you encounter any big monster? Usopp asked. Luffy and Zoro glanced at Nami cautiously. What a strong monster. While counting the money happily, Nami turned to look at the curious Usopp and Chopper with a dark face. I hit you, what happened? Don't mess with me, I'm still angry. Must kill tomato star. Fur strengthening. Bang. Shadow clone simply chose to turn into a fart and disappear. At this time, Robin and Sanji came back with large and small bags. Miss Nami, your guardian knight is back. We have brought you good news. Sanji looks like a teddy waiting for praise. However, Nami at this time. Boom. Go away, you stinking gangsters. Although I don't know the reason, Ms. Nami is still beautiful when she is angry. Sanji, who was lying on the ground, had a look of enjoyment. Everyone gave a thumbs up. Awesome. Miss Navigator, here you go. Robin took out a map from his clothes. Here, east of Gaia Island, it is said that there lives an old man who was deported. His name is Mont Blanc Coulicat. He's a dreamer, and he has the same temperament as you. Sister Robin is really awesome, much more reliable than some big pervert who calls himself a ninja. Nami praised without hesitation and complained about a certain idiot. At this time, Chopper's voice was filled with excitement. Kong has a fever again. Chapter 167 Kong is sick again, King Orangutan. Secure Asset Portal, your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. Kong has a fever again. Sanji stood up like a carp, with questions on his face. Did the damn fisherman eat something dirty again? He quickly replayed in his mind the delicacies he had recently distributed to everyone. After a long day of recalling everything from the preparation of the ingredients to the canned food, Sanji didn't find anything strange. Nami looked away and said, it's probably a wound infection or something. These words earned Luffy and Zoro disgust, and Nami never mentioned her violence. Let's leave this town first, Luffy. Nami hugged the treasure tightly and looked at everyone at the dock who was wary. Melee, the 3-square-meter medical room. Kong suddenly woke up from his fuzzy consciousness, surrounded by the pungent smell of alcohol, and felt confused in his heart. Why am I hospitalized again? Did Nami make my wound bleed? Suddenly a feeling of weakness came over him, and he felt that his body was sore, and his whole body was extremely hot. Kang's vision gradually became clearer, and what came into view was Chopper's shocked deer face. Kong. Sigma opening parenthesis for all no Han. Dr. Chopper, is there hope for help this time? Give me a quick word. Chopper recovered from his brief surprise, and professional diagnosis sounded like a barrage of cannons. Your body's metabolism is very intense, and the injured body is recovering at an alarming speed. The doctor's guess is that the high fever may be related to this reason. I've given you a fever-reducing injection. In just a short while, this metabolic rate caused Kang's body cells to be replaced almost once. Dr. Chopper speculated that it might be the reason why Kang's physique increased significantly, a bit like the idiot captain's weakened life return. Chopper was not surprised by this. After all, no one on the ship was a normal person. Unlike Chowba's optimistic thoughts, Kong knew that he did not have such perverted abilities, so he instantly thought of the poisonous Q. Are you sick? Kong spoke slowly. Dr. Chowba, if I say that I am sure that I am sick, what do you think? After hearing this, Chopper was stunned. Did he not believe the doctor? However, Kang's words are still effective. After some rigorous tests, Chopper ruled out some possible viral or bacterial infections. He really didn't know where it started. It is not a common infection. If your body's resistance is abnormal due to the disease, without a definite history of exposure or more obvious symptoms, it will be extremely difficult to diagnose. But at least one thing is certain, it does not appear to be contagious at present. Quote. Chopper's analysis was both professional and calm. After all, they had been together for a long time. If there was really a risk of infection, he should have shown something. Chopper said this, and Kong didn't know what to say. If you just look at the signs shown now, they are indeed no different from Nami's symptoms on the ancient island. But, would Poison Q be so kind? Kong shook his head, and the soldiers came to cover up the water and earth. Anyway, Chow Huzi had the bottom line. And as long as it is an illness, a person's body can heal itself if it is strong enough. This is Kang's understanding of illness. However, in order not to worry others, he said, okay, Dr. Chopper, thank you, it's really a wonderful rejuvenation. Let's go together. Let's have a party. As long as I can eat enough, disease can't catch up with me, Luffy. Psi Omega Katakana middle dot, Psi dance with joy. I hate it. Even if you say that, I won't be happy. This is why Chopper likes Kong, he is so sick. It makes him feel very accomplished, right? Gaia Island, Port of Animals. The banquet continued for 3 days and 3 nights, 3 days and 3 nights. Oh. At this time, a very unpleasant noise came. What is that? Ooh. Kong was a little dazed, but the sound was so loud that he woke up instantly. Oh. The annoying voice came again. Kong, who transformed into a grumpy old man, shouted angrily in the direction of the voice. Oh, how big is your mother? It's so noisy. He was already feeling uncomfortable, but an inexplicable irritability spread in his heart. He put down his wine glass and began to form seals. He looked up and saw a large boat with tropical plants moored on the water, with a snot-nosed orangutan on the bow. It was the ship that made the sound. When Usopp saw it, he quickly stopped Kong from taking action and pressed him hard on the deck. Hey, Kong, calm down, this ship has the same style as Yuan Shuai. Just hold me down, Usopp. Otherwise I won't be able to help but take action. Kang, who was pinned to the ground, tried his best to calm down. He was wondering what was going on with that inexplicable rage. Not long after, an orangutan popped up and looked at the people on board the melee with unkind expressions. This is Undersea Exploration, King Orangutan, 36 million Bailey, the director of the Orangutan Pirates, and the Orangutan are brothers, and they follow Mont Blanc Coulicat together. It looks like its name, but it is human. He is very confident in his personal abilities, so confident that he thinks he can succeed the departed crocodile as the new 7 warlords of the sea, but what he thinks is more powerful is actually just that he hasn't cut his hair in the 25 years since he was born. Facing the orangutan with evil eyes, Luffy stuffed the meat, his eyes flashing with stars. It's a gorilla. Usopp shouted. Hey, gorilla, do you know the ape? Luffy on the side said dissatisfiedly, idiot. Usopp, you want to call him Urushui? The orangutan opposite was stunned for a moment, as if he had just received the message, and while dancing a jazz dance, he said in shock. Ape, do you know ape? Luffy looked excited when he saw this scene, the jazz dancing gorilla. So awesome. The orangutan didn't care. Jesus, jazz dance star. Forget it, I've only been a trainee for 2.5 years, but I haven't cut my hair for 25 years. Isn't that amazing? Everyone. Omega winking face, are you sure you are not praising yourself? And it seems that orangutans are also very capable of empty ears. Ah, your name is Ju Zhang. I think Ju sounds better. Luffy looked shocked. Kong-eared orangutan. Oh, have you seen my strength? I won't be promoted until I become a Shichibukai. However, since you said so, I will take the title of Orangutan Lord first. Everyone fainted. This can actually communicate. King Ape, King Orangutan, Monkey, Wong Luffy. That's right, my family. On the deck, in the joyful atmosphere of Luffy and others, a gorilla was dancing jazz, showing off his graceful singing voice, and participated in the Straw Hats' 3-day flowing banquet. Oh, 3 idiots plus an orangutan, constantly screaming, this is simply noise pollution. The guys who couldn't bear the disturbance stared at these 4 idiots with anger in their eyes. Chapter 168 Coulicat. Secure Asset Portal, your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. Reluctantly bidding farewell to the busy orangutan, the melee continued to move forward. Hey, fishing guy, your face turns red after just 2 drinks. Is your drinking capacity getting worse? Zoro was a little disinterested. Dumb. Dark Crow, who was also a patient, happily gave Kang some bait. Ah, Kang can't drink. Chopper ran over quickly with his chopsticks in his hands. Juice. Change. The movements are smooth and flowing. Hey, Kang, are you really okay? Nami pressed her forehead against Kang's, almost burning her hand. Kang wiped the sweat from his forehead and said disdainfully. Haha, Nami, do you think I'm a weakling like you? I just have a fever and there's nothing I can do about it. I'll be fine if I sweat. Keep playing music, keep dancing. Robin was drinking coffee. He had already heard a general idea from Chopper. Kang was sure that he was sick, but he couldn't tell how he got it. He felt that this ninja was hiding something. Soon everyone arrived at the target location, and what they saw was a castle that looked like a fairy tale. As that big house that person's home. He must be a millionaire. Luffy and Usopp sighed. Idiot, open your eyes and look. Zoro closed his eyes with a look of disdain. Dumb. Chopper translated with a shocked look on his face. Dark Crow said. These are all false. Sanji flicked the ashes from his cigarette and said, what a dreamer. I think he just loves vanity. Amid everyone's disdain, Luffy looked behind and was disappointed. What? It's just a board. It turns out that the real building is just half a house on the shore, and the castle and other things are painted as the missing front wall. Nami turned to Robin and asked, what dream did he have that drove him out of town? Robin shook his head and smiled evilly. I don't know about this, but it is said that there is a lot of gold buried in Guy Island. After hearing this, Nami was full of excitement. The Grand Route is full of wealth. As expected, I will not deceive you. Nami grabbed Chopper and jumped down, waving his hand regardless. Chopper. Dig quickly. Is it okay to dig casually? The simple Chopper had no self-thinking at all, and completely forgot not to play with Nami when they were talking about money. Robin had a wicked smile on his face and seemed to enjoy it. At this time, Kang handed Robin a piece of paper. Here, this is Chopper's physical examination report. When he was in the infirmary, he thought it was funny and took it out. Robin's diagnosis. The name of the disease is black belly. Chopper's prescription is, stay with pure white little angels like Luffy and Chopper, and slowly purify. Robin's mouth twitched after reading it. However, seeing how cute Chopper was, Robin still forgave him. Everyone got off the boat. Zoro yawned. He spent the day drinking at banquets and working overtime at night to exercise like crazy, so he just took the time to sleep. He was under great pressure after being overtaken by the fishing guy. Excuse me. Luffy pushed away others, minding his own business. It seems like there's no one at home. Usopp shouted from behind. You are too hasty. Come out quickly. Kang picked up the book on the wooden table next to him and opened it to read. Nolindo, the big talker. At this time, Chopper is still digging. This picture album seems to be from a long time ago, right? Nami came over. Usopp's eyes lit up when he saw the book, Big Talker. The title of this book is a good one, and the content must be interesting. Hey, is he your ancestor? But it was written by North Blue and published. Nami looked amused. Usopp was instantly furious. What do you mean? You said he was from North Blue, how could he be my ancestor? At this time, Chopper is still digging. Norlando, such a familiar name, I think I saw it when I was a kid. Sanji, you were in North Blue when you were a kid. Nami wondered. Ah, didn't I tell everyone? Sanji said with a smile while holding a cigarette in his mouth. The reason for not telling is known only to himself and Kang. Although Sanji is the prince of North Blue Germa 66, he is not treated like a prince at all, not to mention his miserable childhood. This book tells the story of the great liar Nolando who fabricated gold. As soon as Sanji said this, Nami was instantly attracted. Chopper is still there at this time. Nami said angrily. Chopper, you are so noisy. What are you doing? As soon as he said this, Chopper felt aggrieved, and his sadness was almost written on his face. Oh, poor Chopper. Finally, Nami took the book and started telling it to poor Chopper. Some people say that Kang simply closed his eyes and began to rest. It didn't take long before I fell asleep. Chopper touched Kang's forehead. He has a severe fever again, but the laceration on Kang's chest has scabbed, and his mental state seems to be okay. Chopper felt that if this was a disease, it was also a good disease, and there was even some direction for the development of its panacea. After listening to Chopper's words, Nami felt relieved. So, with Chopper's expectant eyes, he continued to tell the story. Just like that, before he could become a brave sea warrior, he was unfortunately executed. Coolikit, I see, I'm causing you trouble. Lee Zito suddenly relaxed after hearing this, and then cool the towel a little more and give Kang another one too. While the Straw Hats were taking care of Kurikit's home, Chopper entered a serious state and commanded everyone. Recently, the Straw Hats only took care of patients, which shows how important Chopper, the ship's doctor, is in navigation. Are you here for the gold? Lee Zito, also known as Coolikit, shouted. Luffy and Usopp shouted. Uncle, do you know Ape Commander and Ape Lord? Suddenly he pulled away and said, are you talking about apes and orangutans? Shortly after, that's right, they are our friends. Nami looked at the poor man and told Usopp the end of the story. MMP. Don't do anything to lady. Who are you insinuating? Don't look at me, and don't make up a tragic ending for me without authorization. Usopp is confused. To put it simply, Coolikit was poisoned by BNK. After 5 layers of poison, his big move exploded. At this time, Coolikit also woke up leisurely. The windows are all open. Boom. Usopp was stunned. Such a familiar line. Who are you? You broke into my house without permission. Don't you know this area is my territory? Ah, doctor, suddenly fell to the ground. After Chopper's diagnosis, it was concluded that Coolikit had been diving for a long time day and night, and had contracted diving disease. The disease had accumulated for too long and suddenly broke out. With a few people, I want to chop off the chicken's head and become brothers. Sanji did his duty as a hero to save the beauty. He smoked a cigarette and faced this guy, and they danced for a while. Gold. Nami's eyes became golden. As expected, go to hell. Coolikit's eyes were filled with murderous intent. At this time, a shirtless man with a chestnut head wearing only a pair of swimming trunks suddenly jumped out of the sea next to him. Poor liar. The two brothers Ape Commander and Ape Lord also returned here, crying with gratitude to the Straw Hats. Chapter 169 Dream Sky Island. Sky Island. Oh ha 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 ha, do you believe there is an empty island? Coolikot's reaction was the same as most people's, but more like self-deprecation. Luffy protested. Why are you laughing? Isn't there an empty island? But Robin said there is an empty island. Coolikot returned to normal, with a faint smile on his lips. Who knows, but I know one person who says so, but that person is a world-famous liar, and his descendants are ridiculed by the world for it. Luffy opened his mouth and looked at Usopp in disbelief. Usopp looked confused. Why did he think of me again? Idiot. It's not me. Why are you like Nami? Kang continued. We have already watched the big talker Nolando. I believe him, and according to my information, he is an honest person. Coolikot's smile faded and she looked at the bandaged man seriously, feeling as uncomfortable as eating shit. He actually stole my line. Then, hey, doctor, is this person more sick than me? Is it okay? The implication is whether you can let him out. At this time, a god-level admiration came. After learning about the relationship between Coolikot and Nolando, Usopp felt like he was possessed by Conan and shouted excitedly. I see. So uncle, you went to great lengths to find the Golden City under the sea in order to clear the name of the Montblanc family, right? No wonder you are so desperate. What nonsense are you talking about? Coolikot was instantly furious. He raised the gun directly in his hand, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Washing away that guy's shame. No matter how upright that guy is, or how great an adventurer he is, it has nothing to do with lousy. Can you understand the feelings of a child who is scolded by strangers because he has some blood relationship with that B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* be complaining, or perhaps relieving his inner depression. Finally, he sighed, lit a cigarette again, calmed down a lot, and turned to look out the window. Generations of people go to sea to prove Nolando's innocence and wash away the so-called family shame. And in order to escape the curse of being looked down upon by others, I chose to be a pirate, but when I set foot on this island by accident, I understood. Whether there is any or not, I don't want to find gold to prove Nolando's innocence. I just want to have a life and death duel with the man who messed up my life. Although Kulikit keeps saying that he hates Nolando, he still has the obsession to clear Nolando's innocence, and this crazy diving is the best proof. So what Usopp said was actually correct, it's just that the man didn't want to admit it. Ha, man, it's so romantic. Everyone's listening this time also made Kulikit feel depressed and satisfied. He took out a sailing diary. Okay, see for yourself. The Waiba Konghai Kongyu recorded in Nolando's logbook 400 years ago proves the existence of Sky Island. Everyone sighed at this man's romance and began to watch the voyage diary. After analyzing each item step by step, Robin and Nami came to a conclusion. Sky Island is real. The house exploded instantly. Robin looked at these guys who believed in him and smiled again. Hey, hey, hey. It just proves that there is an empty island. Where is it? How to get there? Nami's words instantly silenced everyone. At this time, Chi Kong handed Big Brother a box of Laosha brand cigars. Huh, this smoke is pretty good. For the sake of the good smoke, let me tell you more about cumulus clouds and upwelling currents. After finishing everything, Chi Kong collapsed on the sofa, panting. Chest tightness is uncomfortable. I won't take away the lines, because in the end, I still have to rely on Big Brother. As for what Big Brother talks about below, he is already familiar with it. Sky Island is located above the Julu Cloud. The cumulus clouds are located high in the sky above the Great Channel and are extremely thick. But the amazing thing is that no matter how thick they are, they will not produce air currents or rain. Like fossils of clouds. Because it is too thick, it blocks all sunlight, so the covered area will make the day look like black Yoruichi. The formation of cumulus clouds is related to the factor, pyrobroin, of Halu stone. This component will make clouds have the characteristics of water, snow and ice at normal temperatures, thereby greatly improving the cloud's carrying capacity. Moreover, because it is freed from the sea-land cycle, the jet clouds can accumulate over the years, forming a spectacular scale. The reason why the sea floor stone factor related to the sea reaches the sky is due to another thing called rising ocean current. An upwelling current is a spectacular phenomenon in which seawater surges upward against gravity. It is said that there is a huge bottomless hole in the Sea of Gaia Island. When low-temperature seawater flows into this hole and contacts the high-temperature geothermal heat underground, a large amount of water vapor will be generated. As the pressure of water vapor continues to accumulate, it will eventually trigger a violent submarine explosion. It sounds a bit like an old-fashioned popcorn machine. Finally, the seawater is driven by powerful force to form a sky-high current, which can push all objects it touches to high altitudes. The method Kulikit mentioned to get to Sky Island, which is also known as cumulus, is to use upwelling currents. In the case where the two coincide, this heavenly method. Do it or die. After learning the way to Sky Island from Coolie Kai, Luffy shouted excitedly. Awesome. I have decided, I want to invite Uncle to a banquet. Hey, hey, hey. Luffy, have you thought about it? Usopp looked horrified, trying to persuade Luffy to give up. Think about it, if we fail, we will end up like the big sailing ship we encountered before. Nami also helped. And even if it succeeds, if there is no empty island, we. No problem, let's go. Luffy said with a smile on his face, deciding the direction Melee would go. Luffy's appearance scared Nami and Usopp half to death. Are they so desperate? But they understood Luffy's character, so they could only surround Wei and save Zhao. Usopp tearfully pointed at the golden merle parked outside the window. Look at how Melee's delicate body can withstand such torture. Kulikit on the side agreed. Yes, I'm surprised that your ship can get here. What did you say? Usopp immediately turned his face when he heard someone say bad things about the golden merle. Seeing that Usopp was already furious, the rhombus-faced uncle quickly waved his hand. I'm just telling the truth. You can't do whatever you want. It will break into pieces when the ocean current hits the sky. However, this time, I can let the apes and orangutans escort you and strengthen the hull of the ship. Put it on us. The gorilla prince and the ape commander, who were stealing food, responded at the same time. At this time, Nami pointed out a serious problem. Luffy, we can only stay in Gaia for one day at most. After that, the record pointer pointing to the Sky Island will be assimilated and then point to the next island. Yes, it's too late at all. Usopp was overjoyed, and then said to Kurikit happily. You see, if you want to go to Sky Island, you have to do it on a day when the two natural phenomena of G-Emperor clouds and sky currents overlap. How often does this happen? Months, years. Kulikit glanced at him. It's tomorrow at noon. If you want to go, you have to prepare quickly. Usopp was shocked. Isn't that just a coincidence? How can there be such a coincidence? Chapter 170 Kulikit is about to go to heaven, Chi Kong faints. Secure Asset Portal, your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. Usopp is crazy. Such a coincidence. Kulikit looked at Usopp. If you don't want to go, then don't go. I'm not forcing you. If Luffy wants to go, how could Usopp not go? They are partners. However, if you go to Sky Island, you may really die. As a result, Usopp was like a drowning man, trying to grasp the last straw to save his life. He pointed at Kurukit and complained. You lied, right? This is so weird. We just met today, but you are so enthusiastic about us and even help us strengthen the ship. Usopp's words were like an invisible sword thrust into Kurukat's face. At the same time, Luffy was a little dissatisfied with his partner's behavior and called out, Usopp. However, before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by Usopp's sudden wave of his hand. Moreover, the time to go to Sky Island happens to be tomorrow. You are obviously the descendant of that big liar. Only a ghost will believe you. Usopp's words couldn't even be heard by others. It was like a stab in the heart. However, maybe Usopp did it on purpose. Just when the atmosphere dropped to freezing point, someone came to the rescue. Sanji appeared from the kitchen with Yuan Shuai and Zhang Ju. Brother, it's delicious. Second brother is right, this guy's cooking skills are really beyond boasting. Ape Commander and Ape Lord did not hesitate to praise Sanji. Chopper, go wake up the fisherman. The banquet is ready. Sanji said, lovingly teleporting between Nami and Robin, who was reading quietly, his head like a rattle. Miss Nami, Sister Robin, is having a party. Kulikit stood up from the bed, his face gloomy. This state made Usopp nervous, and he couldn't help but assume a fighting posture, his feet trembling. However, he still said forcefully, What? You were fooled by me and you want to fight. But Kulikiti's voice was as calm as ever. I can feel all the weather patterns in this sea area even with my eyes closed. I dare not say that there is a 100% overlap, but tomorrow is indeed the day when the G-Emperor Cloud and the Sky Current will appear at the same time. He patted Usopp on the shoulder, his words full of tolerance and understanding. The reason why Kulikit endured Usopp's heartache was because he knew that these dream-seeking young people would definitely go to Sky Island. He has seen too many mental breakdowns due to the fear of death. The Straw Hats have become his audience, so what if he gets scolded by a long nose? Well, I'm glad I met you fools chasing your dreams. Let's go, let's have dinner together, and rest at my house tonight, comrade. Luffy next to him grinned. Banquet, banquet. Usopp suddenly knelt down when he heard, comrade, and Kulikiti's words made him feel ashamed. I'm such a coward, right? At this time, Kang opened his eyes and comforted the confused Usopp. Don't worry, Usopp, this big brother is not lying. Because when he helps us, he is also helping himself. Kulikit suddenly stopped and looked at the weak bandaged man with interest. Go away, Kang is about to start showing off. Kang's voice echoed in the room. If an explosion of soaring sea currents washes the ship into the sky, is it possible that when the current accumulates to a certain level and explodes, a piece of land can be washed into the sky? As soon as these words came out, the air seemed to freeze. While everyone was still digesting it, Kang had already taken the logbook from Robin and spoke slowly. The golden land is not under the sea, so is it possible? He points to the sky. The light of Sandora is above the sky, on the empty island, waiting to sound again. Kang's words directly ignited the whole audience. What are the lights of Sandora? Luffy said with a cute look on his face. Robin explained. The golden bell mentioned in Nolando's voyage diary is a bell made of gold on the famous city of Sandora on Gaia Island. Because of its powerful and beautiful bell, it is like a bell in the dark night. Like a light, it can guide the direction and light up hope for the fleet sailing in the storm, so it is also called Sandora's lamp. What Kang means is, how is it possible? What a massive current. Nami couldn't imagine how terrifying this natural phenomenon is, which can lift a continent into the sky. Ha, you, ha ha ha, you are really. Kulikit couldn't stop laughing, and his laughter echoed throughout the room. Ha 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 ha, ahem. Eventually he laughed until his old illness relapsed and he collapsed to the ground. Doctor, doctor. Kulikit pushed Chopper away, her voice trembling uncontrollably. You are just a group of fools chasing dreams. You dare to think this. You are really not afraid of making trouble in the world. Kang stood up, clutching his chest, and walked to Kulikit. Isn't it funny? Don't you also admit that Nolando is an upright person? Kulikit laughed at himself. Do you know how many years I have been here? 10 years. A whole 10 years. How many 10 years can there be in life? If the lights of Sandora really exist. He raised his head again, with a complicated light flashing in his eyes. Why? Why does it never ring? This almost desperate cry seemed to reach through the clouds and reach the sky. At this moment, Kulikit had to admit that somewhere deep in his heart, he had begun to waver. He stared at the sky outside the window, as if he could see through the clouds and see the distant Sandora. I want to go to Sky Island with you, is that okay? Kang was surprised by Kulikiti's sudden words. I'm just going to comfort Usopp and pretend to be cool. Are you going to go to heaven? After hearing this, Chopper was the first to stand up and object. Your body with diving disease can't bear it. You will die. Luffy also advised. Yes, uncle, if there is any light like that, I can just knock it for you. Kulikiti's voice was as firm as iron. I have decided that life and death are no longer important to me. This is the meaning of my life, it can be regarded as a dream. After these words fell, the room fell silent, leaving only the sound of heavy breathing. Just like that little brother said, after eliminating all possibilities, the remaining one can only be the real answer. He turned to Usopp again, with a hint of complexity in his eyes. Also, in this case, the long-nosed guy should also believe it, right? Usopp waved his hands quickly, looking panicked. Brother, I apologize for what I just said. Don't do anything stupid. I believe you. At this moment, Kulikit seemed to have made up his mind. However, the words of Yuan Shuai and Orang Ju made Kulikit unable to ignore. Brother. Without your coordination, we just can't do it. The two partners never expected that they originally just helped the Straw Hats get into the air, but now even their eldest brother would be involved in danger. Kulikit looked at his two men. The apes and orangutans didn't have enough brains. If they were left alone, the current would really destroy their car and kill them. But the truth is so close, why should we give up? Kulikit was very unwilling. The room was in chaos, everyone was trying to persuade Kulikit. At this time, Nicole Robin on the side patted Kong and said, Ninja, just by looking at it, you know the Sandora's lamp. Faced with Robin's doubts, Kong blushed and his heart beat. He really blushed and his heart beat. The dynamic vision of my eyes is just very good. Nicole Robin frowned, but she did not delve into it, but asked, Hey. Ninja, are you going to die? Question mark. This girl actually cursed him. The last Nami who cursed him made him sick. Don't. Fart. You're evil. I'm just out of breath. Help me take off the bandage. Kong felt that it was impossible not to call him Chopper, because he suddenly felt suffocated and confused, and his body seemed to be undergoing some kind of change. However, God must go to heaven, and you can't let the Straw Hats miss their trip to the Sky Island just because of you. So, he asked Robin in a low voice, take me to a quiet room and quietly call Chopper over, don't let other people know. Before he finished speaking, Kong fell directly into Nico Robin's arms. Robin didn't hide because Kong fainted. Chapter 171 Exploding Bounty. The island after Alabasta is Autumn Island. Colonel Smoker, are you looking for me? At this time, Smoker was naked from the waist up, sunbathing, and said without looking back. How is Ama's health? When Dasky heard this question, she took off her glasses, pressed her temples and felt a headache. My body has recovered very well. It's just that this girl is clamoring for training. I don't know what to say. Smoker poured the deputy a cup of coffee, and Dasky thanked him for a while. Dasky picked up a reward notice in front of Smoker and was a little unsteady about holding the coffee. The Straw Hat Boy has exceeded 100 million. Has he just entered the Grand Line? Straw Hat Kid, Monkey D. Luffy, with a bounty of 150 million Baileys. Smoker took a sip of coffee and explained, defeated the creek in the East China Sea. Just entered the Grand Line, and defeated the Shichibukai, Sand Crocodile. It's just that someone is not allowed to tell the truth to the world, so in my opinion, his bounty is still low. Dasky was rummaging around for a while and found the portrait of the old enemy with bandages all over his body and a knife cutting through the storm. Why is Roronoa Zoro's bounty so high? Wind Swordsman Roronoa Zoro, with a bounty of 80 million Baileys. The bounty represents strength to a certain extent, which makes Dasky somewhat beyond the reach of Zoro's strength. Smoker lit 3 cigars and explained. In addition to cutting up the sandstorm, the swordsman killed 100 bounty hunters in Whiskey Mountain and Mr. 1 Daz bonus in Albana. Dasky looked shocked. Daz, that famous killer in West Blue, a murder expert. Smoker blew out a smoke ring. A swordsman like this can cut even the wind. It's really worth the price. With that knife, I seem to feel the armed domineering spirit that Teacher Zephyr mentioned, although it was only in its rudiment. Then, we all have to work hard, Dasky. They can grow up in such a short time. If we don't work hard, there is no point in catching them. Dasky rummaged again and couldn't find Kang's bounty after searching for a long time. Why isn't there a bounty for that person? That magic fairy? Dasky asked in confusion. Smoker had a solemn look on his face. That person, Lieutenant General Guion rejected it. She said she would apply for that person's bounty in person. Dasky looked shocked, asking the Lieutenant General to reject the bounty. She instantly thought of Guion's bruised appearance. No way. Smoker's voice came slowly. Do you think so too? Lieutenant General Guion didn't say what happened that day, but I feel that it has something to do with the magic witch. And, didn't you notice that Lieutenant General Guion's sword was missing? Sakura Kingdom, on the highest peak of Sugu Island. Dalton found the witch doctor and handed over the reward order in his hand, the muscles on his face twitching. Dr. Kuleha, you should probably take a look at this. Oh, he's actually my stupid son. Dr. Kuleha saw the bounty order, Chopper holding a bandage, dodging in reverse, revealing half of his body. The corners of her mouth raised slightly, and she smiled happily. Then, she looked at the reward amount and smiled even more pretentiously. What a silly son. This amount must have been misunderstood. Pet Tanuki Chopper, he may know medical skills, and there is a bounty of 50 Baileys. Butler Mary pushed the gate of opening and placed a bounty order in front of Kaya. Miss, you are indeed right to study medicine. Usopp looks seriously injured this time. Kaya looked at the new reward order with a smile on her face. Usopp, although I don't know what you did, you must be brave this time. Self-destruction master Usopp, theoretically a sniper, knows from the confessions of observers that he can self-destruct, and self-destruction is extremely powerful and extremely dangerous. The bounty is 17 million Baileys. New Cocoa West Village. Hey, New Ochigao. Sheriff Aegean once again ran into the orange grove out of breath, holding a reward worn tightly in his hand. New Ochigao, who was pruning, looked puzzled. What's wrong? Uncle Aegean, was Mumu summoned again? No, it's terrible. You, see for yourself. Aegean panted. Nokigao took Nami's reward order, and when he saw Nami's money-loving smiling face on the reward order, he couldn't help but raise his lips. Really? How long has it been? How come the title has changed? Thunder Gun, Nami, a navigator and thief, can create thunder clouds and cast powerful thunder penalties, with a bounty of 32 million Baileys. Pet Black Crow, a pet suspected of eating a devil fruit, has a bounty of 300,000 Baileys. 32 million. It's higher than Aaron. How is that possible? Nokigao was stunned. Jien looked worried. Next time Nami writes, remember to call me. I'm a little worried about her too. Barati, does that Sanji guy finally have his own bounty? This blurry back, such a heavy rain. Can't you have a straight face? This bounty, should the sign at the entrance of the restaurant be changed? Ha ha ha, what a good idea. But others probably won't recognize it, right? In Barati, several chefs looked at the bounty in front of them and complained wildly while showing happy smiles. Upstairs, Zapu looked at the figure on the reward notice and murmured to himself. I thought you were dead. It's really good, boy, better than lousy. Blackfoot Sanji, top-notch kicking skills, elusive, with a bounty of 45 million Baileys. Jingle bell, jingle bell. On the sea, the back of an old man riding a bicycle. Kuzan looked at the waves more than 10 meters high in front of him, exhaled a breath of cold air, and said helplessly. Ah la la, this is really troublesome. Then, he stretched out his hand into the sea, and a burst of extreme cold penetrated his body. Open black lens bracket Ice Age close black lens bracket. Click. Cracks began to spread and grow on the ice sculpture. The sea breeze blew and the ice sculptures shattered. Aokiji was about to continue pedaling when he saw a news bird flying towards him. After paying Bailey, Aokiji casually scanned the news in the newspaper. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed and he spotted a familiar figure in the corner of a photo. Did you run the first half of the Grand Line? It's very smart. Aokiji took out a long-sealed reward order, with a black-haired little girl on it. Have you found a partner this time? Nico Robin. Son of the Devil, Nicole Robin, with a bounty of 79 million. Marine Bando, Marine Fleet Admiral Office. What? You lost. Did you lose the knife? Sengoku looked at Gion in front of him and fell into deep thought. Originally, the Warring States period was thinking of how to compensate its old friend. Now say, you, Lieutenant General Yishi, were actually defeated. What are you making a fuss about? Gion on the other side nodded simply without any cover-up. I don't want to explain the specific process. Although I have some excuses, but that guy's strength is very strange. The red energy giant can actually block my domineering knife. Gion's words made Sengoku's scalp numb for a while. He looked at the old man smiling naively next to him and seemed to be saying. What kind of monsters are under your grandson's hands? When he saw Garp eating his own senbei, he got very angry. You're looking for death, Garp. Finally, Gion walked out of the room with a new reward amount, but his face didn't look good. Because she felt that the bounty was still low, and the Warring States Fleet Admiral was still too conservative. She turned around and walked into Lieutenant General He's office angrily. Crimson Demonic Eyes has not been distributed. The sample picture is a long-haired, Sharingan, cool D. Chi Kong standing with his arms crossed, with a bounty of 300 million Baileys. Chapter 172 Chi Kang's illness is. After Nico Robin placed Chi Kong gently, he followed his instructions and went to call Chopper. At this time, Chi Kong, who was in a coma, was shaking violently, as if there was a strange energy surging in his body. The angular facial lines of men begin to soften, and the skin gradually takes on a delicate and smooth texture. The shoulders gradually narrow, the chest area subtly bulges, and the waist outlines a gentle curve. Robin secretly called Chopper the reindeer and explained the cause and effect. But she was full of doubts about Chi Kong on the bed. Why does it feel? Something is wrong. Very wrong. Chopper listened randomly for a while and then turned into a shocked face. The body temperature has returned to normal, and the laceration has completely recovered. But what's going on now? Pinch, pinch. Why is Chi Kang's chest getting more and more swollen? Robin observed Chi Kong carefully and made a guess that even he couldn't believe. Dr. Chopper, is there a possibility that this is a unique female organ? Chopper's eyes widened, his face full of disbelief. What nonsense are you talking about? Robin spread her hands and felt that her imagination was too big, but that was the fact. Is it a hormonal disorder? Chopper's expression suddenly became serious. Give Chi Kong a full body check. Then, impossible. Robin on the side finished watching the whole thing, with his mouth wide open, and finally coughed softly. Dr. Chopper, what does this mean? Chopper was stunned and thought of something even more terrifying. Woman, I don't know how to treat this disease. Chopper's voice was too loud. The laughter at the banquet stopped suddenly, and there were rapid footsteps outside the door. Robin quickly used his ability to lock the door silently. What happened, Chopper? Did Chi Kang's condition worsen? Chopper was suddenly startled and quickly replied, no, it's nothing. Chi Kong is doing very well. Ha ha ha. Outside the door, Usopp's voice was full of suspicion. Are you lying? Chopper was shocked again. I've been discovered. Robin at this time. I have something to say, I don't know whether to say it or not. Evening. As expected of Dr. Chauba, you can tell what the disease is just by the symptoms of chest tightness. It's rubbish poison Q, but it's just mediocre. When Chi Kong came to his senses, he was full of energy and still complaining in his heart. When he opened his eyes, he ran into Chopper's shocked deer face. The stethoscope in Chopper's hand seemed to be a superfluous thing, and he looked a little at a loss. What are you doing? Dr. Chauba, are you scaring me again? As soon as he finished speaking, Chi Kong always felt that something was wrong. At this time, the aisle less than 1 meter in front of the door was crowded with people. Luffy. Is Chi Kong awake? Zoro. Hey, don't squeeze me, Luffy. Nami. It's changed. My voice has also changed. I just said it casually. I really didn't mean it. Sanji burst into tears. I've been on the same boat for so long, and I didn't even know she was a woman. It was so hard for me to hide it from Chi Kong-chan. Usopp. Don't be stupid. Sanji. A transvestite. This is definitely a transvestite. It's possible that this is Chi Kang's true face. Could it be that he has been using the transformation technique? Yuan Shuai. My little brother has become a little girl. Lord Orang. Is there such a disease in the world? I don't believe it. Kulikit. Her disease is more terrifying than mine. If I got this disease from diving. Robin, who was leaning against the wall, said leisurely, everyone, you'd better be careful of Ms. Navigator's curse. After listening to all kinds of discussions, Chi Kong finally knew what was wrong. The change in voice, the slenderness of the figure, and the strange heaviness in the chest. An inadvertent touch, the touch is plump and strange. Ah, what is going on? A clear and panicked female voice pierced the entire night. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. My strength has become smaller. How can I still fish? Chi Kang's eyes turned white and he fainted. Robin. Fishing. With a sad look on his face, Chopper added, if Nami beats him, he will become a female disease, in Chi Kang's medical record, adding another, question mark. Shortly after, Chi Kong stood up suddenly, and there was no other shocked person around. The scene just now was still echoing in Chi Kang's mind. He was covered in cold sweat, as if he had had a long and terrifying dream. Fortunately, Chi Kong felt the touch on his chest. Ah, in a sharp voice, Chi Kong ran frantically towards the door. This is a dream. This is definitely a dream. Friends, where are you? At this time, the Straw Hats were having a meeting about whether to cancel their trip to the Sky Island. At this time, her long flowing hair was flowing, and the bandages all over her body showed off her plumpness, which made people dazzled. Sanji saw the new image of Chi Kong, full of love. It's the lovely Chi Kong-chan. Get out of my way. Even when you are angry, you are so cute and charming. Everyone gave a thumbs up. Sanji, awesome. When Chi Kong heard Sanji's voice, he felt sick for no reason. Sigma_Ka vomit. After hunting geese all day long, my shoes got wet. Is this the retribution Nami was talking about? Lousy won't play with she-males anymore. Lousy won't be a woman anymore. After vomiting, Chi Kang's IQ instantly came online and he had already figured out the cause and effect. Poison Q. It must be poison Q. Chi Kong really didn't expect that the sickness fruit could actually cause people to get such degenerative diseases. Was this fruit developed after learning from the King of Demons? If I understand correctly, what the fishing guy means is that he got this disease because of the guy on the horse. Zoro was confused. What a fantasy. Robin looked at the feminine Chi Kong with interest. If it is the ability given by the devil fruit, it is indeed possible. Then, she started thinking, should Chi Kong like this go to the men's bath or the women's bath? Sleep in the boys' dormitory or the girls' dormitory? Suddenly a Chi Kong, lying in the aisle, appeared in her mind. As this disease only for Chi Kong. Nami touched the idiot Luffy's body, then touched his own body, and his plump flesh bounced. Her eyes were full of doubts. Why are we okay? When Sanji saw this scene, his eyes closed, and then falling to the ground with a crash. Usopp complained at the side. Hey, Sanji, don't you also want to try to transform? At this time, the patient Chi Kong was very emotionally unstable. Chi Kong, if this is also a disease, I can't cure it. But, I will start research on the subject immediately. After listening to Chopper's words, Chi Kong kept throwing Chopper's neck and said reluctantly, Dr. Chopper, it's impossible. Can you really not cure this disease? For the time being, I haven't learned this yet. This is not just a hormone problem, there may be unknown viruses, or. Chopper couldn't explain why for a moment. I'm such a useless doctor. Suddenly, Chopper shed tears of grievance and cried. Chi Kong made little Chopper cry. Finally, under Robin's eyes, Chi Kong let go of his hand and held his forehead speechlessly. Poison Q's ability is quite different from Chopper. There is no cure for this disease, so he must find a way to solve it. In less than 12 hours, it's time to go to heaven. Chi Kong said to everyone. Luffy, listen to me, we must go to Sky Island. I'm going back to Magic Valley Town. You take the Dark Crow to the forest to catch a southward bird. I will definitely be back early tomorrow morning. After Chi Kong finished speaking, he ran away without looking back, regardless of other people's reactions. Swish. The wind blew fallen leaves, and Chi Kong walked quickly through the forest. Damn it, I didn't want to pay attention to you at first, but now that you are seeking death. For Ace, for my body. Lousy will fight with you. Chapter 173 Chi Kong vs. Black Group. Magic Valley Town. The 4 members of the Blackbeard pirates gathered together, and a rough man's voice sounded. Poison Q, you said you met this Straw Hat Boy. This man was tall and tall, with thick hair and dark complexion. His fluffy black hair was wrapped in a green turban. His exposed chest reflected an unruly smile, and his incomplete teeth shone coldly in the moonlight. This man is Marshall D. Teach, the captain of the Blackbeard pirates, a user with the Darkness Fruit ability, nicknamed Blackbeard. Yes, there is also a very interesting bandage man in their pirate group. His body seems to be different from ours. But, that person should be dead now, right? It would be interesting if you weren't dead. Before Po Q finished speaking, he trembled inexplicably, as if he sensed something. At this moment, a loud female voice pierced the night sky and penetrated the entire Demon Valley town. Poison Q, give me the FK. Bah, come out to lousy. This voice of course comes from our protagonist Chi Kong. Although this roar was not uncommon in the noisy town, it still attracted everyone's attention. This beauty is so hot. Hey, girl, give me a smile. The female pirate group is recruiting people. Hey, do you want to join the group or not? Facing the teasing laughter below, Chi Kang's face darkened. He quickly formed seals with his hands, and shouted angrily, shut up, you be asterisk 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 asterisk. Boom, boom. The flames swept down like a tornado, instantly turning the noisy streets into silent scorched earth, and instantly the crowd below turned into chicken-flavored crunch. The members of the Blackbeard pirates all looked towards the source of the sound. Teach put down the Straw Hat Pirates bounty list and gave the order. Old fan, go and see who he is first. As a real pirate, Blackbeard is very insidious and cunning. Before he understands the enemy's abilities, he usually chooses to let his subordinates test them. Call out. With a slight sound, Van Oka pulled the trigger, the bullet shot out, and a cold smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The arrangement of fate. However, Van Oka was shocked to find that before the bullet even touched the target had already turned into smoke and dissipated. ADC, right. Take revenge on old and new grudges together. In the crowd, Chi Kong, who transformed into an ordinary pirate, used the shaving and teleportation techniques to appear near Van Oka at lightning speed. 3 shurikens flew out at a weird angle, and then a rain of fire poured down. This was the ninja's first test. Whoosh. Although Van Oka's development direction is long-range perception, he can easily catch such mid-range attacks. Taking advantage of the concealment of the building, Van Oka rolled on the spot and fired 3 shots at the same time. Bang. 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 Each shot accurately hitting Chi Kang's vital part. You can still shoot accurately while dodging, and the sniper rifle is played like a semi-automatic rifle. Is this reasonable? Chi Kong, who was hit, turned into a fart and disappeared instantly. Van Oka was confused. What happened to this man? Is he a Matryoshka doll? Just when he was stunned, Chi Kang's true body came close to him like a ghost. Golden light flashed in his hand, and the Jinpailao blade struck with a sharp sound of wind. Cutting C at such a close distance seems to be a sure win. Van Oka's response in a short period of time was perfect. He raised his gun to block. Chang. Metal clattered and wood chips flew everywhere. Jinbaluo was only cut in half, but was blocked by the barrel of Van Oka's beloved gun. What kind of iron is this made of? Chi Kong was stunned. However, there was no time to think about this. He didn't just know how to chop. He had already kicked out a kick with chakra attached. It seemed like a normal kick, but Van Oka only felt that his chest was hit by more than a dozen compressed attacks. Puff. Van Oka vomited blood, and his body flew upside down like a kite with broken strings. His body smashed houses one after another, and he didn't know whether he was alive or dead for a moment. Chi Kong felt that the power of this attack was reduced by at least 30% compared to the original. Women's bodies are too weak. But the good thing is that she feels lighter. Chi Kong sheathed his sword, turned around, and formed seals with his hands as fast as a loom, because... Hey, silly girl. When Baji saw his companion being beaten, he raised a huge stone and threw it at Chi Kong. This stone is so fast that it can arrive in the blink of an eye. What a lot of strength. A stream of water rose from the ground, deflecting the path of the stone, and at the same time, the water flowed towards the town where Badger's was located. Chi Kong appeared above the water, staring down at Baji's in the distance, and began to form seals in his hands. This stupid big guy is the owner of double domineering and an all-round warrior. This kind of warrior with high defense and thick blood must be restricted as soon as possible, because it is very troublesome to get entangled. Another figure of Chi Kong appears. Sharingan transforms into Mangekyo, apparently through water style's hidden identity. Open black lens bracket Amaterasu close black lens bracket. Badges sensed the danger with his seeing and hearing color, and he ejected and ran towards the crowd. A black flame exploded out of thin air around him where he left. Chi Kang's eyes focused, and the fire snakes continued to surge towards Badgers, and the pirates watching the show were affected one after another. Black flame. What a strange ability. Devil fruit. What kind of flame is this? Why can't it be extinguished? A pirate desperately tried to immerse himself in the water, but found that the black flame seemed to have its own will and was not affected at all. Badgers darted left and right in the crowd, with beads of sweat on his forehead. There's something wrong with this flame. At this moment, the water under Badger's feet suddenly began to churn, and 3 streams of water gathered silently, intertwining into a web of death and attacking him. Wow, la la la. While the three rotating rhinestones hit the target perfectly, Amaterasu directly attached to the water mass. Ah, so hot. Good, hot. Amaterasu, let's play with you for a while. Kang wiped away the blood and tears, and at the same time, the water body turned into a ball of water. Kang spent nearly half of his chakra and part of his pupil power. In the blink of an eye, an ADC was seriously injured, and a soldier was burned by Amaterasu. He didn't know whether he was alive or dead. Poison Q, get out of here. Do you want to be a coward? At this time, Kang was filled with anger, but in the eyes of passers-by, she seemed to be a stupid woman abandoned by a scumbag. Ahem, are you looking for me? At this time, a pale man riding a horse slowly walked into sight. It was Q. In the shadow not far away, Blackbeard quietly observed Kang, flipping through the reward order in his hand. Poison Q had a wicked smile on his face. Looking at how angry you are you sick? Kang saw the visitor. He lost his mind instantly. Damn it, it was you who made me turn into a woman. At this moment, Kang no longer has the calmness of a ninja. All calculations, chakra, and temptations are all unimportant. Change me back, I can spare your life. Kang yelled. Yes, I promise you. Come over here, don't do anything to my partner. Kang was overjoyed and quickly approached Q. When she got close to Poison Q, she suddenly became dizzy. What's going on? Kang made sure he didn't find anything weird. Your body is weaker than you thought. Based on your physique, I have 10,000 diseases that can kill you. Poison Q's words are stinky, but his ability is indeed weird. Don't go near this consumptive ghost. At this time, a pirate who escaped from Poison Q, with blood flowing from his 7 holes, stretched out his hand to his companion. Save me. Poof. Don't come over. Poof. Suddenly, the passers-by watching the theater began to bleed from 7 holes one after another, and fell to the ground within a few steps. A swarm of apples are coming. Kang was shocked, his eyes were filled with blood and tears, and he used his strongest defense. Open black lens bracket Susanoo close black lens bracket. A skeleton suddenly appeared and enveloped Kang. Although the explosion was blocked, it seemed to have no effect on Poison Q's ability. The feeling of powerlessness continued. I even felt a little dizzy. What a weird devil fruit ability. Chapter 174 The Poisonous Q in Tsukiyomi. Secure Asset Portal, your trusted source for secure and informative digital assets. Register with your real phone number and get bonus just for registering. Try for free. Unexpectedly, Kang, who fought against 2 black groups, was actually poisoned by the ability of Poison Q. Susanna seemed to be ineffective against this ability. This devil fruit is really disgusting. It's impossible to guard against it. Kang thought of this and made a decision in his heart. Since Poison Q won't cooperate, then you can remove it yourself. Open black lens bracket gate of opening close black lens bracket. Open. He used the 8 gates Dunjia he just obtained to activate his brain, temporarily blocking the pain. As a copy ninja with Sharingan, the way the blue beast used the 8 gates dungeon to attack the first 6 gates was copied by Itachi God. It's just that Itachi has a serious blood disease and his body can't keep up, so he has never tried to exercise. But Kang is different. As long as the Weasel God has it, he can perfectly control it if his physique reaches the standard, which means that he can open the door to death, even if he doesn't care about his life. It's just that something is blocking it, saying nicely, I'm afraid you are too ambitious. Therefore, he only has the first 3 ways to open the door. Kang regained his energy and took a heavy step. Mangekyo spun around, and Poison Q felt confused and dizzy. Open black lens bracket Genjutsu you read close black lens bracket. As soon as Blackbeard rushed in the direction of badgers, he saw Poison Q walking slowly towards the woman as if uncontrollably. Darkness surged in his hands. It's so weird. Is this the ability of the Tongtong fruit? Tsukiyomi, Genjutsu. Wahahaha. Black mist lingered in the palm of Blackbeard's hand, and he easily picked up Kang, who was still resisting despite bleeding from all his orifices. The ridicule and disdain in his eyes were beyond words. I thought you were so powerful, but it turns out your physique is so vulnerable. At this time, Kang's voice was trembling, his eyes were burning with the flames of revenge, and he spoke with difficulty. If it weren't for this body, not adapting to it, I would definitely kill you. Poison Q used his ability to treat Vanoka and badgers, and looked at the woman who was ravaged by his ability, showing an indifferent smile. Blackbeard crushed Kang's limbs. Amid his pain, he stamped on him cruelly and said curiously. Poison Q, I'm also curious, what's going on with your ability? Why don't you open your eyes? The captain had spoken, and Poison Q had nothing to hide. This is one of the disease-causing abilities of his recently developed, sick fruit. The ability to manipulate the morphological factors of gender can affect and change the gender characteristics of organisms, allowing people to develop special illnesses. Different from pathogenic viruses or bacteria, this is a completely different pathogenesis. After this, characteristic expression is disrupted by his ability, coupled with the ability to speed up metabolism, the characteristics of this disease can be quickly manifested. I call it a female disease. In the future, I will consider adding a virus as a carrier to make it contagious. Or maybe develop some more interesting diseases, such as a disease that will kill you as soon as you go to the island. Killing is easy, but wouldn't it be more fun to make life worse than death? Q said with a proud smile. Ah ha ha ha, Poison Q, you are so bad. Blackbeard smiled evilly and asked. So, is this change permanent? Is this all she can do for the rest of her life? Poison Q coughed twice and said with a sense of accomplishment. This is the ability of my fruit to make people sick. This ability will probably last for a period of time, ranging from 1 or 2 months to half a year. Of course, if I were to intervene again, it would be very fast. Blackbeard nodded with satisfaction. That's just right. I'll catch him now and change him back. I want to see his true colors. If he is a big pirate, my road to fame can be much faster. Change back. Q was puzzled. If we intervene in this state, he may die immediately, or he may be resurrected with full health. Are you sure, Captain? Of course. This guy is under my control, don't forget my fruit ability. Blackbeard affirmed. As you wish, Captain. Q stood up and dismounted tremblingly, walking towards Kang step by step. He didn't know yet that Kang let him see all this. On the street at this time, Kang's body was covered with ribs, his 7 orifices were bleeding, and the poisonous Q on the opposite side slowly moved towards Kang. Facing Q's speed as fast as a tortoise, Kang cursed in his heart. Hey, Poison Q, wake up. At this time, a man covered in darkness shouted. Next to him lay a badger who was completely charred, bloody, with white bones exposed. He was still unconscious and had more air in and less air. However, the Amaterasu on badgers had strangely disappeared. This man is Blackbeard, but Kang can't be distracted at the moment. Sharingan is doing his best to maintain the stability of Genjutsu. This is a key turning point. Seeing that Poison Q was still awake, Blackbeard stretched out his hand towards Kang, his words filled with exploration and playfulness. Your abilities are so strange, woman. However, you seem very weak. Open black lens bracket dark water close black lens bracket. One of Blackbeard's arms turned into darkness, and a huge suction force came from it. Damn it, come directly to Wanxiang Tianyan. Are you a villain? Can't you say a few more words? Kang secretly cursed. Genjutsu in. Okay, I was joking about Poison Q, it doesn't matter whether this person dies or not. Blackbeard's expression suddenly changed, his fierce look revealed, and he asked, tell me. If you die, is it possible to release the ability? As he spoke, Blackbeard slowly twisted into Kang. Man. Q looked at the man in front of him, but he couldn't believe it. The disease he carefully prepared was cracked by this man. However, if you can crack your own abilities, you won't ask yourself. Q was filled with confusion. No, where is my ability? He wanted to ride Zhuangzhuang and escape. At this time, under Q's shocked eyes, Zhuangzhuang twisted into Kang, and at this moment everyone around him became Kang. Poison Q still doesn't understand what's going on. It turns out that he was also possessed by strange abilities without knowing it. Kang saw the Jinpailao in his hand moving towards Q's neck, and stopped when he was still 1 centimeter away from his neck. Besides asking you to intervene, what else can you do? Tell me. Even if there is, do you believe me? Poison Q glanced around, trying to find the flaw in this ability. Although I don't know why you would take the initiative to show off your flaws, I guess your current state is not very good. Stab. The sword flashed and Q's head fell to the ground, with fear still in his eyes. Then the scene changed, and Poison Q was tied up by Wuhu Ada. Then I'll play with you, let's Ling Kai first. Kang grinned and returned what Q said to him. Depending on your will, I can kill you in 10,000 ways. Poison Q grinned. Is it just painful? Kang frowned and thought of the characteristics of the sickness fruit. Poison Q should have a strong tolerance for pain. However, he soon grinned. Do you feel the pain of illness? For example, diarrhea. Also, you can't swim with devil fruit, right? Have you ever tried swimming in a cesspit? Also, and this, I will let you finish it in the end. Kang waved his hand, and a bunch of spiral devil fruits appeared behind him, and they spread all over the mountains and plains. At this moment, Poison Q found with a horrified look on his face that his stomach was getting more and more painful. And his mouth was constantly stuffed with devil fruit. Open black lens bracket shit fruit. Close black lens bracket. Enjoy the remaining 47 hours. There is always a way to defeat your defense. After dealing with Poison Q, Kang got a piece of information that made him vomit blood. Now that he wants to regain his male body, apart from the intervention of Poison Q and covering it with similar abilities, there is only one way, to use domineering to break it. Isn't this G nonsense? How can he be so domineering? He also covers his entire body from the inside out. As for letting Poison Q treat you, even if he had the guts to give Kang, he would not dare to let him regulate his body. Can we just wait for Ivankov? When he thought of this, Kang felt angry in his heart, if Blackbeard hadn't interrupted his genjutsu at the critical moment. You are seeking death. Martial teach. Kang cursed angrily and let his body be sucked towards Blackbeard. See if your fist is stronger or my Susanna is stronger. Chapter 175 V's teach. Blackbeard found Poison Q paralyzed on the ground, his whole body twitching continuously, and he looked like he was greatly stimulated. He was horrified that this girl had the ability to deprive his men of their fighting power in an instant. What kind of fruit is this? Blackbeard thought hard, but he couldn't match this ability with any known fruit. Faced with this unknown and terrifying ability, Blackbeard was extremely vigilant. However, dark water is really powerful, which greatly increases Blackbeard's confidence. Because, the moment his arm touched the fiery red bones. How is it possible? Kang was shocked. The Susanna ribs that protected him, his embodied chakra, were actually absorbed crazily by Teach's arm. Guys who know me, tell me. Who are you? Blackbeard's voice was mixed with confidence. He looked at this beauty in confusion, but could not find any information about this person in his memory. Faced with Blackbeard's doubts, Kang's answer was Die. Along with her crisp drink, magic Yaohang technique suddenly activated. Blackbeard Teach's eyes suddenly shrank, because his body was suddenly penetrated by countless nails, and the pain was unbearable. But this feeling is very strange. His cursed body actually only felt pain. There's something wrong with this woman's eyes. Blackbeard was not stupid, he immediately realized what this was. Hypnosis. Because his subordinate, Devil Sheriff, Lafitte has similar abilities. Watching Susanoo being absorbed, while Teach was being charged, a heavy punch with concentrated chakra hit Blackbeard like a thunderbolt. Boom. It hurts so much. Damn it. It's more powerful than badgers. Kang, who broke free from dark water, immediately stared at Teach warily. Teach was knocked 10 meters away and kept shouting in pain, but then a darkness rose from the ground. But he got up unscathed. At this moment, one word came to mind between the two people who were looking at each other: troublesome. Kang. The dark fruit is really weird, it actually uses the ability of hungry keto. Teach. The pattern on the eyes has the effect of hypnosis, making it impossible to look at each other. A cold light flashed in Kang's hand, and the famous sword, Jinpailao, suddenly appeared. Open black lens bracket shave close black lens bracket. The disappeared Kang suddenly appeared behind Teach and swung his knife. Chang. Blackbeard Teach's figure is like an unshakable mountain, and his broad back blocks Kang's sword light. Not bad speed. But after all, I am a nobody, and my power is beyond your understanding. Teach had disdain in his eyes and a sneer on his lips. Chang. Every ray of cold light that Kang tried to pass through was easily pushed away by his arms that were made of black iron. Kang probably understands what power this is. Domineering. The hardening of the armed color. That's reasonable. It's not unreasonable for Whitebeard to stay on the ship for so long. However, he didn't believe that Teach could cover his whole body in armed colors, so he turned around and ran away. At this moment, Kang's sword force suddenly changed. The sword light was no longer a violent attack, but turned into countless tiny lights and shadows, light and deadly. His ninja sword killing technique aims to use softness to overcome strength, finding the smallest gaps in the opponent's defense to attack, and the sword is deadly. Combining the lightness brought by his feminine body with the skills of Gion, Kyoka Suigetsu, Kang's speed is terrifying and deadly. Open black lens bracket streamer butterfly dance close black lens bracket. Bah, how could I have such a girly name? At this time, Kang, who had turned into a phantom of light, finally began to exert his strength. The soaring speed overwhelmed Teach. Chang. Ding. Stab it. It hurts. B****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** slashing wounds were left on Blackbeard's body in succession, causing Teach to scream in pain. When the situation was great, Kang dodged a few times and distanced himself, while dripping with cold sweat. Because a substantial darkness spread from Teach to the surroundings. This darkness made the air solidify, and anything and everything it came into contact with would sink into the darkness strangely. This is Dark Acupoint Path. As for the slash wounds on Teach, all of them disappeared after this darkness swept through. I admit your strength, but in front of my strongest fruit, everything is in vain. Teach's voice sounded, as if he was laughing at Kang's useless efforts. Then his voice came again. Come and be the woman of One Piece. Little girl, although I don't know what's going on between you and Poison Q, I can adjust it. Teach's words instantly ignited Kang's anger. This body is a taboo that he cannot talk about. Kang's resentment condensed into a raging chakra, and he summoned Susanoo again. This time, it not only had arms, but flesh and blood began to wrap around it, evolving into a larger second form. Feel the pain. Martial D. Teach. Kang has a general understanding of Blackbeard's abilities. Ordinary attacks are useless. If you want to use them, use big ones. Kang began to form seals. The 20-meter-tall body looked down at Blackbeard like a giant god, with a red magatama condensed in his palm, which contained the power of terrifying destruction. What on earth is this? The phantom beast species of the Renren fruit. Blackbeard became more and more confused, and it can actually transform. The crowd was panicking and talking, and the riot in Demon Valley Town seemed to end abruptly at this moment. This kind of breathtaking smell. Brother, this is the first half of the grand route. Do you know how to fight? That's right. We agreed that the masters will fight each other, you come back and I go back and forth. Why did you suddenly open it up? Everyone, farewell, I'm leaving now. I feel like after today, Magic Valley Town will be gone. While Teach focused on the huge rotating magatama, he felt the high-temperature heat wave condensed in the woman's mouth. Needless to say, this group of ants also felt the terror of this skill. Don't resist. The darkness emanating from Blackbeard's body wraps forward like a cloud. Open black lens bracket. The fire is extinguished. Close black lens bracket. After leaving Kang's mouth, the flames instantly turned the vast area into scorched earth. All obstacles in the path, and even the pirates who had no time to escape from the battlefield were instantly reduced to ashes. There is no way Teach can avoid the flames with such power and scope. Open black lens bracket Yasaka Magatama close black lens bracket. The thrown fiery Magatama seemed to have eyes, spinning in a strange manner, turning into a parabola and approaching Teach. Open black lens bracket great dark day close black lens bracket. As Blackbeard Martial Teach casts great dark sky, darkness spreads like a tide, swallowing up all the light, and the entire space seems to be shrouded in endless night. The collision of fire and darkness caused the entire town to be shattered by air waves. However, when the red light came into contact with this rich darkness, the impact gradually slowed down and the light gradually dimmed. So breathtaking. Is this the power of darkness? Shi Kong gasped, Sharingan's pupils shrank, and a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. As the flames were completely swallowed up by the darkness, the fiery red Magatama made a spin and hit Teach's back perfectly.